You want to know what's worse than watching a bad sporting event?
What?
A poorly officiated sporting event. I think this past weekend was the weekend of poor, inconsistent officiating. One particular game, we saw officiating alter the outcome. Although if Patrick Beverly hadn't slapped Jaylen Brown in the top of his head before he did a layup, it wouldn't have mattered with the LeBron foul. But we saw a blatant foul at the buzzer, which I'm pretty confident LeBron would have made one of two. He would have made the first, missed the second. Then we watch the Eagles play against the 49ers, and Eagles first drive, Devonta Smith does not catch that ball. I mean, it was a beautiful pass.
And there was no review.
No review. It looked good. It looked like a great catch, but then we saw another angle, no review. And Kyle said, like, "Hey, man, like based on the replay we saw, we couldn't, like, we didn't see what you saw in time, and maybe you call a timeout and you see a few more replays. I mean, what's one timeout in the first half? You're gonna burn one eventually when Jared Purdy can't get to play and you're about to get the game, right? Yeah, Brock Purdy. Sorry, who is Jared Purdy?
I don't know. I think you were thinking Jared Goff. Maybe you were watching a little bit of that Pro Bowl challenge today.
Nah, maybe Jared Purdy is somebody I know personally. I don't know. And then you watch the Kansas City Bengals game, and that was just a buffet, a golden corral of sorts of just bad officiating, inconsistent officiating. Yeah. It was oh, Ryan's.
Yeah, right. hey, throwback. TBT for sure.
Right, but it was man, it was so bad. And I'm not saying that Kansas City didn't deserve to win that game. I will say that poor officiating, I think, had an effect on the over. And I think the Bengals should have won the game. But it was just bad. Like the holding, the defensive holding calls, some of the PI, it's like
the third down where we never got the extra third down where we never got an explanation for what actually. When they showed it, we saw the ref calling it dead, but what was it? Was the play clock not right? They never actually explained why the play even got called dead.
And I don't know why he stopped. You know what I mean? I don't know why
he ran through the whole play. I mean, he didn't run in and like try and tackle someone himself. Like,
he could have kept blowing the whistle. I get it's loud in there, but he could have kept blowing the whistle.
Was it really loud with Kansas City having the ball? That's not even the loudest it would have been. And that was another issue. Like, I get it. They're still making somewhat noise. There's Bengals fans there. There's no way it was that loud to where nobody heard you, bro.
And I know the Eli Apple holding that they called on the sack. And you go, it was a little tug, but it had no effect on the play. Patrick Mahomes was sacked if that man was wide open. You know, and it got so funny that Gene Steratore, whatever his name is, right? The referee, when they would ask him, he's like, yeah, I wouldn't have caught that. And, usually they have the officials' backs, like the official who's a part of the broadcast team. Jim, I don't know. Gene, what we got there? Wouldn't have called it. I don't think that was a penalty.
Well, and I think a lot of people were complaining too about just how it appears that the best referees in the NFL are all having the TV jobs now. They're no longer officials. A lot of our good Mike Carey, Gene Steratore, Ed Hockley Sr., a lot of the really good officials are no longer the officials, they're TV officials. And like it's inconsistency, but it's a bigger issue with the NFL because those guys are part-time people. Hockley was an attorney, but was also a ref. And it's like, I get it because football is not year-round, but why don't we set it up to where these guys are making, like, kind of like teachers, because teachers not a year-round thing. Even if you do summer school, it's not year-round. So, like, you set it up to where you get your best officials, whoever grades the highest at the end of the season, whoever's got the longest tenure, your Ed Hockleys, or even those guys. Maybe they have a school. that the NFL contracts.
And
They do a school that is year round. You got the USF, you got these other leagues that are kind of forming. They could do the spring games for college, and it could be college and NFL, and even high school guys that want to intern, high school referees. Like, we need to make officiating better before it does turn into what the MLB wants, which is like robo umpires and stuff. Like, so we don't want that necessarily. There needs to be imperfection, but we just need to at least get away from the obvious being determinants of the outcome of the game.
And we're gamblers, so for one, we care about that. But
there's money on the line. Yes,
as you're a basketball player, you just want consistency. If you have a ref that's going to call it tight and he calls it consistently tight throughout the game, or that crew, you know what you're getting, right? You know, you have some refs that'll let you jaw. Some will say, hey, y'all shut up. Next one, tech. All right, cool, got it. But don't let us jaw and then at halftime bring it in and say, hey guys, we're going to call it tight the second half. No, don't do that. Like, you've let us play a certain way. And I think that's one of the issues. But speaking to making the referee a full-time thing, I think if you incorporate those leagues, you have the training through in the off season. They have OTAs and training camp, and they have their own like build up and wind down, and give them a union. Make it worth their while. And hey, let some of these guys negotiate a contract. Don't give them a base salary. Like, hey, if you're the best of the best, open it up so they can make more money. The NFL has the pocketbook to do it. And if you want to keep these guys off of TV, you got to pay them more. But let me ask you a question. You're a professional, right? You run a staffing company, correct?
That is true.
What if a major staffing company offered you a job to come be a consultant for their various companies? Okay. You're working less hours, you have less responsibility, but all you're doing is consult based on your experience, consulting them on how to improve their company, and you're going to get paid more for it.
My question is the check big? Or because
you're getting paid more.
We already offer.
You're getting paid more
consultation. So like, yeah, I'd take it, of course.
They say you got to be exclusive though. Like, hey, you have to step away. You're our guy.
So look, and then this will make me bring it to this point. Because of the officiating, then you have a guy like Arian Foster coming out, which I think he was joking. In reality, he clearly wasn't serious. But at the same time, the internet's ran with it, and we've got so many great memes out of it. And this is what I'll say. I don't believe that outcomes are predetermined. But as a man with functioning eyeballs, Lee, who's watched a ton of football, there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, anybody can say that will convince me that there aren't parties involved that influence the outcome of a football game. Because as a bettor too, there's no, and we got the Tim Donaghy, we got his side of the story for regular season basketball games. And we looked at little stuff. If you remember, you watched it. I know, look,
Donaghy was a rogue referee.
But this is what I'm saying. This is why outcomes aren't predetermined. The outcomes are not predetermined. But because I do watch enough sports, there are parties that do have vested interests in this stuff to where they can work it to where they will try and get what they want. And with Tim Donaghy, I just remember him saying, for instance, Allen Iverson carries the ball a lot. So if he actually calls it every time he does it, he's in the NBA. A lot of Ja does it. There's so many dudes in the NBA that travel and carry the ball all the time and they don't call it. If he calls it every time on Iverson, that's more possessions for the other team. If the spread's 8.5, they get more possessions. That means they get more chances to score, and that's more turnovers on the other end. And we know that turnovers are big in any sport. They're big, unless the team is significantly better to where it really doesn't affect them, because on the other side of the ball, they're so great. So I just think that, like, yes, this is like kind of an issue. Like, it is something that you've got to look at, especially with all the money on the line. The fact that the casinos are sponsors now, it just There's a lot that goes into this.
Well, Parlay Pete, who owns the casinos?
Billionaires.
But what organization owns the casinos?
Well, MGM's one of them, and they make movies.
No. Who built Vegas?
The mob.
And Vegas always wins. Think about it. If you get too hot on a blackjack table and a craps table, you can be asked to leave.
Yeah.
Just for winning. You get hot, they ask you to leave, and you have to leave, right? And I've listened to Michael Francis talk, and he's talked about how, yeah, I won't tell you any players that we bought, but we bought players, we bought fighters, we've done this. And in the Tim Donaghy story, he was framed as a rogue referee. He couldn't be the only one. One of the referees who's still active today, I can't even think of his name. He's the one who hates Chris Paul. Scott Foster. They were really good friends, and then the Fosters just cut Donaghy off. They don't speak anymore. And David Stern was,
because of course he doesn't want to be part of that.
Right. But then Donaghy was gonna go back to the NBA before he did his jail time and be a rat. And he was gonna expose, quote unquote, expose the system. And David Stern didn't allow it. So you look at college football. Why is USC and UCLA going to the Big Ten? Why are we expanding the playoffs to 12 when every year we watch in the 4-team playoff that there's usually a team or two who doesn't belong? It's about the money. It's about the money. So if we know that it's about the money and it's not about the on-field product, the on-court product, the product on the diamond, what makes this any difference? I'm sorry, we don't want. You know how happy Fox was to have Dallas, Philly, and the New York Giants in the playoffs? You know how happy they get about ratings? You know, Joe Burrow is great. We love Joe Burrow. But since he doesn't have the fan base of Kansas City, and Joe Burrow is not this megastar that Patrick Mahomes is.
He's not. So
because of that, the NFL likes certain teams, you know. You know how upset the NBA was? Well, what was it, that Spurs Detroit finals?
They hated it.
They hated it.
They hated it.
The markets matter. They're the reason why the Clippers haven't made a finals yet. They don't got enough fans. That's a joke there. But the point being is, I'm not saying that there's a set result, there's a script like Aaron Foster said going in, because Matt Ryan would have thrown the script away. Tua Tagovailoa would have thrown the script away. Damar Hamlin would have thrown the script away. But I do think that there's a preferred result. I mean, think about our Falcons Super Bowl season. Look how long it took us to get recognized as one of the best teams in the league, and we had a historic offense the entire year.
They didn't recognize it. That's the thing. They didn't. And
we are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Hey, it took us 14 minutes. I think it's a pretty good pod.
Well, yes, for Matt Ryan even come into it. Yeah.
We hadn't talked about Matt Ryan, the first ballot Hall of Famer.
Look, maybe he doesn't get in first ballot, but what I'm saying is that he's one of those people.
This is one of those conversations I feel like is just we could ever get the whole locker room to actually lock in for a pod.
It won't happen.
The Matt Ryan Hall of Fame conversation would be one for the ages.
It's a very much so relevant conversation, because I think that he's going to be one of those people. We know why Eli Manning gets talked about for why, is Eli a Hall of Famer? And the NFL is pushing it more. That's why he's I mean,
Yeah.
it's his brother, the family. Like I get that too, but like it pushes because it's like, well, he beat Brady twice in a Super Bowl, but he's basically mediocre every other year. His
Average.
career.
He's
While
average to below average.
Ryan's been great, good to great his entire career. He had maybe 2 seasons, 3 at most, where you were like, okay, well, that was an average NFL quarterback season.
You know, you and I think we properly rate Matt Ryan. Like I stand with you where in the rating of Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I have a smaller Hall of Fame than you do.
You do. You have it as where there are more of the elite, but the issue is that there's so many people in it that already aren't the elite of the elite. And it's just kind of like, well, if we're going based off of what history tells us, he would be one, I guess is my thing.
Can I give your brother a little bit of smoke? I hate that I don't know when I'm going to see him again.
Mm-hmm.
But when he started pulling those old names out of his ass,
he brought up guys that were in.
But you can't bring guys off the all-decade teams.
But they're a part of it. The NFL is the one that puts it together, just like they do the Hall of Fame.
But the point, if you're on an all-decade team, you probably are a Hall of Famer. Like
exactly.
I don't see how you don't make the Hall of Fame if you make an all-decade team. So for those of you who are trying to keep Devin Hester out, if I remember correctly, he's on the 2000s and the 2010s all-decade team. Right, he's got to go in.
I know he's on the 2010, but he's as a special teams player. I mean, Slater for the Patriots has made like 7 Pro Bowls, right? And now, and then we're going to get into the Pro Bowl too.
He's a gunner. He's a gunner. He's not a return man.
There's the other guy. There's a dude for the Bills that's like one of those guys too. Those 90s Bills teams that made like 8 Pro Bowls. And he was a gunner as well, but he was like a wide receiver was his position on the team.
Okay, catch balls.
He caught some balls, but he wasn't he's wide receiver 5. So unless
he juggled more balls than he caught, huh?
Out there.
Yeah, he's more of a ball juggler than a ball catcher. Got it. I think I'm the only one with no kids. Why do people flex about not having kids?
Weird flex, right?
Yeah, like, hey, dude, you're almost 30. You're 30. Grow up. Start a family.
Like, yeah, I don't have any kids.
Okay, good for you. Do you have any stability in your life? Do you love anyone?
I'm glad you made it out, man. That's admirable.
We're kind of all over the place, man. But you, since we were talking to Matt Ryan, you want to go Falcons first and just complain about our DC hire, or are you happy with our DC hire? Because I think I was in a drunk.
This is what I am with our DC hire. I think that we didn't necessarily hire the wrong person because I got to do more research on them. I just hate that we're poaching from the same organization that our coach and GM come from all the time. And I get it, there's familiarity, but at the same time, why didn't we take a swing for, the best?
B-Flow, Steve Wilkes.
Why didn't we take a
Fangio?
Yes. I think that that's where my beef comes with what it is that they're doing. It's more along the lines of there are so many other guys out here that we could have, did a tickling match with. I don't understand what would make it to the point at where we don't. I know that they interviewed B-Flow. Like that came out that we did interview him, but
I don't think
Arthur did he leave Atlanta or wherever they met, New York, wherever they met, Pittsburgh, wherever they met him. Why is it that he didn't leave with the offer and then he just said no? And maybe he did say no. I don't know.
Maybe Arthur didn't want him in the room.
Is it because he's suing the NFL? I mean, but can we get some? Then why interview him?
I mean, maybe Terry wanted to interview him, so Terry got to interview him.
We got the blessing from.
But maybe Arthur Smith said, he's won more games than me. We started coaching, we've coached the same amount of years. Or no, B-Flow got 3 years. Beef Low has a better winning percentage than I do. I don't know if I want this guy in the building because if things start getting a little shaky on me,
you guys will feel like you can just fire me.
Yeah, part of coaching is self-preservation, just like being a politician. The biggest thing of being a politician is getting reelected. It's not about doing political shit. It's getting reelected.
Exactly.
Like,
no, you're spot on, brother.
You're in the House of Representatives. You got a 2-year term. Well, you spend 1 year learning the job, then the second year getting reelected. Unless you're Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, Nancy?
Yeah, Nancy's knockers.
We're going to act like we didn't say that.
But yeah, no, Ryan Nielsen, he's a defensive line coach. I get it. We need a defensive line like our defensive line's been terrible pretty much our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
He was a co-defensive coordinator, but we knew who was calling that defense like the last
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis is calling it defense. He was the assistant head coach for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. How are you the assistant head coach for 2 years, but then Dennis Allen jumps you to be the head coach? So are you really the assistant?
Well, he might have been an assistant head coach too.
And maybe he knows how to. I don't like the fact that there were defensive coordinators available who have experience as a defensive coordinator, and we're hiring a first-time defensive coordinator to be our DC. I don't like that.
I didn't like it. One of the things that made me feel slightly okay with it was the fact that Cam Jordan came out and was like, he's an elite defensive line coach, which when he became their D-line coach, which was even more so, I guess it was his prime, so take that with a grain of salt, but like it was his best years have been under him as his D-line coach. The Saints, I would say that was probably the biggest strength of their defense is definitely their pass rush. Like I would say that.
They let Trey Hendrickson go.
I know, and they've still been okay on that line. And he's clearly a star, right? Like he's a star with the Bengals. But like, which another thing, why didn't the Falcons go after him when he was a free agent to you? I don't know. But nonetheless, and I get it. I guess maybe we didn't have the money. I don't know. But we signed Dante Fowler. Like we made cap room for that shit. And all he had was that one big year with Aaron Donald, Brock, like all these guys on that defense. Yeah. And then we signed him. But I get it. He was a Quinn guy. So it made sense. Quinn recruited him at Florida because he was a D-line coach himself. So I guess I get that. But, like, at the same time, there were people like him. But nonetheless, Nielsen, I'm not as upset at the hire. I just am more of a I need to see it type thing. And I just thought that there were way more qualified guys, big, splashy hires, something that we need. We need encouragement in this organization. We've been out of the playoffs 5 years in a row now. We are somewhat starting over. We've got as much cap. We've got second most cap in the NFL. It's finally the restart. This is the first year where, okay, now we're going to really judge our GM and our coach. We can kind of somewhat judge the GM just because of drafting already. But our first two picks, Kyle Pitts, we knew what he was in college, but it's still kind of incomplete. Drake London, I like Drake. Maybe he's not as good as Olave. I don't know. Maybe he's not as good as Garrett Wilson. I don't know. But what I do know is that I think he's going to be solid. I don't know if he's going to be as good as the previous first-round wide receivers we got, in Julio and Calvin Ridley. But, like, at the same time, I think that he's going to be good. I do think he's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be a 1,500, 100-yard, 10-touchdown guy. But he reminds me of Mike Evans. Like, that's who he reminds me of.
Slow Mike Evans, yeah.
I don't even think he's that slow.
Mike Evans catches deep balls for touchdowns.
He does.
He scores on deep balls. Drake London can't get open for
James and Tom will sling it.
Huh?
Jameis and Tom would sling it.
So it does.
Ha! I don't think I saw Desmond Ridder throw a ball past 35 yards.
One of those games he threw a deep pass and it was very inaccurate.
Yeah, like nobody was around. And he wasn't throwing it away.
No, it was just a bad throw. You know how if you're throwing like a baseball
Mm-hmm.
and you just don't release it right, and it's like, who are you throwing the ball to, bro? Like,
Right.
it was one of those passes.
It's all fucked up.
Yeah, but you say we can kind of evaluate our GM, and I don't think we can evaluate anybody in our personnel department until Rich McKay his head is on the stake and
He
he's
won't be gone. The only way he leaves is if he steps down or retires, which is the same thing.
Or he gets some sexual allegations going on and they can't bear it.
That too. That's a way to get anybody out of their job.
Yeah, and not alleging that Rich McKay has had any sexual misconduct at all. I'm just giving scenarios where the Falcons fans could be relieved of somebody who I think is a dark cloud over our franchise, you know. But here's the thing here's my issue with the Falcons. Come next month, my account's going to get hit for some damn tickets.
I had to make my payment yesterday.
Mine's
for because ours is like payment point. It's
same.
Like, okay, they made me pay the first one came out yesterday.
My first one may have two. I was looking around, because I'm still refusing to pay my PSL. You've talked me out of paying for it right now.
I wouldn't.
I don't think I'll pay it until I move up that way.
I wouldn't.
It's just not worth it for me.
It's not worth it, and then on top of it not being worth it, like I don't know. There's just so many other ways I could spend that extra. Like those PSLs, they're not cheap, and then on top of that, they're really counterproductive, anyways. At least for a fan, if you want to scare away the diehards, this is an easy way because we can buy tickets to every game. The only issue with that is that when they're good, then the tickets are going to be pricier. And we don't have to go to every game. I mean, look, there are very few Falcon home games I've ever seen at home, but I already travel on the road and do it. So I prefer going to road games anyways. We don't win at home anyways. Plus on the road, I'm in a different city. There's just so much more fun for road games. So like, I don't like the PSL.
Honestly, I'd rather put money into something at State Farm over a PSL at Mercedes, just because the events that come through State Farm are better. Like, don't get me I know you got the college football games.
Well, Beyonce, brother. I already had. Think about it. I put up a post for those that don't know, that don't follow me, that are listening. I put up a post because I got tickets the day that she announced it. Like, I already got them. But the thing is, and they don't go on sale until Monday.
That's the only perk of the PSL.
But then here's the difference too, though. Because of, obviously, as you know, we've got 4 seats. We got 2 normal seats, but it's the executive thing. That's the only way you get that perk. If you've got the club seats or a suite, they will let you get, because of your PSL, you can get tickets pretty much to any event. Even when the Super Bowl was here, we don't get our seats for that. Same with the national championship. Like, we didn't get when Georgia played Bama, we didn't get our seats, but we got the opportunity to buy seats. They were giving us Super Bowl tickets, but we had to buy, the tickets were still like $5,500 a piece. But they were in the 300s, and then we had to buy the Super Bowl experience. So that gave you tickets to everything throughout the week. And it's just kind of like, I don't know anyone, because if I spend $5,500, even if I go to all the events leading up to the game, I don't know anyone that would pay $5,500 to sit in the 300s.
No, you
might get a diehard, seriously, that will pay as long as they're in, because they can say they went to the Super Bowl. So you can get that, but
Super Bowl, that was
$500 for
that was Rams. That was Rams Pats, right?
Yeah, and then that game sucked.
I know a guy who dropped 10 racks to go with his brother. The guy I worked with.
That's for 2 tickets though, so 5 each.
Yeah.
Were they in the 300s?
Yeah. He was diehard.
I'm just saying, but point being, the $5,500 on my end, okay, maybe everything else is worth $500. Then I still don't make any money. I don't make any money. It doesn't come with a parking pass. don't make any money. Like, because you can sell a parking pass to Super Bowl for $300, $400, you know? Because I don't know, ours would have been that Home Depot thing. I have to imagine it had to have been. And so, like, that's like tailgate row, I guess, for a game at the Benz.
I'm gonna start selling your gate code to the Falcon home games.
What are you gonna just reel niggas in and then give them a sheet of paper? Don't lose this when you get back. If I'm not here, just do that. They got $50 a piece, guys.
Well, and another thing, because I won't talk about like in depth on here, but like that hookup that I had that last game, bro, like I just need to get in the fucking arena. But no, here's the thing about Beyonce real quick. I get this, it's a cash grab, so she does football arenas. But come on, man. I don't know how I feel about a stadium concert.
They're the best. I mean, it's a stadium.
I'm an amphitheater guy.
But for that magnitude of an artist,
I know Beyonce is.
Like I feel like there are certain artists that will do more intimate things, and it makes it more of an experience and more of a. She can make way more money being at the Benz. I mean, so like,
she had another show too. I mean, I know it's Beyonce. Like Beyonce, Rihanna, they're doing stadiums.
I get it as an experience. You're saying as the buyer, the
as
experience
consumer.
is better going to the Fox. If the Fox, like Prince, think about it. Prince's last concert ever was here in Atlanta before he died, and it was like 3 or 4 days before he died. He did it at the Fox. So anyone that went now at least has the memory of I don't even know how many people. The Fox probably sits 2,500, 3,000 maybe. And they have that experience. And Prince, I think that if Prince had wanted to go, but Prince probably at that age too, he could do a world tour and do stadiums, but like, why? He didn't have to.
Well, Prince cares more about the show itself, the art of the show,
than the money.
Than the money, right? And we all know that Beyonce and Jay-Z, they're for sale. I mean, like beyond, like the fact that they said that, like, I got the email today. Hey, we added shows in select cities, bro. Them shows are already booked. What are you talking about?
They did. They added. There's 5 cities that they added because they sent me the other. I'm gonna buy them tomorrow, but like, it's here, Chicago, New York, which is the Giants, New Jersey.
Yeah. Probably Houston,
LA, and Houston. Yep, those are the 5. No other city got it. Philly didn't get it.
Why would they?
Phoenix didn't get it.
Hey, they did it in the cities that our people are at.
Outside, well, yeah, exactly. But outside, like the other 4, aside from Atlanta, are the 4 most populated cities: New York, LA, Chicago, Houston. Those are the 4 most populated cities in the United States. Atlanta is like
hip hop capital.
If you do exactly, well, this is a show. Like here, this plus our arena is outside of LA's. Even think about Vegas didn't even get a second show.
No, because could she sell out 2 shows in Vegas?
I think so. Yes. I think Beyonce could.
Yeah, absolutely. But
MGM might be giving away tickets to people like me too, like in that.
They're catering. There is some catering to the fan with this. Now, if you buy your tickets to that second show and I don't get a lottery drawing, let's have a conversation before you get to marketing to the floozies.
I got you.
Because
I'm going to get extras tomorrow. I'm going to find out because he said that because it's the deadline. The deadline's at a certain time. And I'm in with my guy. You met him. I mean, he got you when we were down there. That's the same dude that let us in after the game. I mean, we're cool. So like, I think he's going to let me buy extra tickets. I really do. So I'm going to buy as many as I can because then I'll just short sell like the ones I want. And then I'll keep mine. Like, I don't mind giving it to you face value. Like I would keep some for me because maybe I'll go, maybe that's a Valentine's Day present. I don't know. We'll see. But the thing is that I would sell them, but I'd short sell them. Like in that section, they're going for 2,000 on StubHub as of today.
They're not even.
If I short sell them for 1,000 each, and I just get rid of them, because somebody, let's say 2,000, and I'm saying that's the low end. Let's say that with the second show being added, maybe 1,500 is the number. Then I'm like, no, I'll give you 1,000, and we'll do a cash transaction, especially for the people like that I know, but that aren't you, like the people I know that like are like on there, and I'm like, look, this is what they're going for on here. I'm gonna sell it to you. You can sell it if you want. Once I send it to you, you do whatever you want with it. But I'll sell it to you for 1,000. So you make the decision. They buy it, or somebody on Ticketmaster verified resale buys it. I make my quick money. I don't lose any money. I make money off the tickets, and then I still have extras in tow for if I want to sell them last minute, or sell them, like I said, to anyone that just wants to do, like, go to the concert.
Dog, I haven't seen Beyonce yet.
And that's part of the reason why I don't really necessarily too much care to go. But I've seen Beyonce.
I messed up by not going to On the Run back
That's
when
I went to both of them. Those are the two I went to.
I was out of the country for On the Run too, and it just didn't work out. It didn't time up with where I was at. But I didn't go to On the Run, and it was me being cheap, not me not being able to afford it. And then when she toured, maybe she was touring Beyonce. It was like, she was touring Beyonce in 2015. I was like, bro, do I really want to drop this 150, 200 on this concert ticket? And I was like, no. And then looking back on it, I was pissed off because, have you ever like had more money in your savings than you thought you had in your savings? And like, I'm like, no, I'm good. And I just didn't check it. And I remember Rihanna and Beyonce, they were like back-to-back
Wish
weekends.
I could see Rihanna. I want to see Rihanna in concert.
They were back-to-back weekends, and then my mom was coming out like the weekend after. And I was going to be off from work for a week and a half, and I was like, bro, we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff that's like going to mess up my normal fun budget. So let me not go to these concerts. And then my mom leaves. I go back and look at the account balance, and I go, oh, shit, my mom was here. I didn't spend any money because she paid for everything, because that's what parents do. I'm like, fuck. That's my first F-bomb. 37-34 in.
Hove did.
Thanks, Hove. We appreciate you. But
YouTube's not gonna block us right now.
We
30 in.
All right, man. We got a whole list of NFL stuff that we haven't talked about. You want to talk Pro Bowl? You want to talk some NFL coaching? Have we recapped? We started about the poor officiating. We didn't really recap the games.
Yeah, I tell you, and because we did start off with the poor officiating, we could start with the later game, the Cincinnati Chiefs game, which was technically, because it was the later game, was the more anticipated game. And I think we all knew that would have been a closer game. I mean, we'll get to the Eagles game. That was a game there's something to talk about. There wasn't much to talk about in that game, but you look at the Bengals and the Chiefs, and the way I view the game, at least, is that the Bengals came out and did not bring their A game for the game. I thought that they did play. It is crazy that they were in it until the end and they could have won. But that's just a testament to Joe Burrow, and then just as good as that offense can be, the fact that and how the defense stepped up too, in reality, on the road against a Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid led team, Travis Kelce, like.
Hey, can I eat my crow on saying I didn't think Patrick Mahomes would be able to adjust to his new roster?
Please do. I mean, I in our group I already ate it, but I mean I'll eat it along with you. You got to plate?
Yeah, man. And let me tell you guys.
Can you put some on my plate?
Yeah, man. Here's a little caw. But and not to get too deep in like the way the group received the conversation. Because, again, we still had them winning a lot of games. It was just like, hey, in those big moments when they can't stretch the field and open it up the way they used to, will Patrick Mahomes be a player that we have not seen him be? And my bet was, I'll believe it when I see it. And he showed it to me. He took the cheese. The man had I don't think his ankle was nearly as high or sprained as reported.
It looked bad during the game.
It looked bad, but it did not.
He was obviously like Chad Henne. Think about it. Had to lead that drive, like the whole drive, and he played maybe he picked up where Pat left off before that drive, and then he did a little after that drive, and then Pat came back in. So it was like 3 series that he did.
He was definitely hurt, but I don't think it. When we think of high ankle sprain, Patrick was still more mobile.
Shit didn't even look swollen.
He was too mobile for him to have a real high ankle sprain, as far as I'm concerned. But anyways, he balled. He had over 300 yards. Not his top 3 receivers, because his tight end is his number 1 receiver. He lost his receivers. He made plays with his feet. He made plays with his arm. It was an ugly 300-yard game, by the way. It was ugly, but he made it happen. And he had the assistance of penalties and the betters and the mob and Roger Goodell and
Libras.
Yeah, he had some help, but nonetheless, he showed up. And Zach Taylor, guys, remember this. I said I don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach, but he wins games.
I don't even think Zach's as bad a coach maybe as you might think. But this is what I will say. I said it in the group when it happened. I said, that's a bad timeout. He called a timeout on their last offensive drive. They were on like the 36, 37, and it was 40 seconds, and it was like 2nd and 10, or maybe 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, something like that. They gained like a yard. They had 2 timeouts. He called the timeout, and I was like, well, hold on now. I was like, it's like 40 seconds. It's like 44 seconds left. Don't call a timeout. Force them to make it. As long as you got your play kind of called in, you're acting like you don't need 35 yards to at least not only have a chance to kick the field goal, but to keep them from even getting the ball back. And no matter what, at least it goes into overtime. And then from there, you can deal with it. No, he called the timeout, and then they did a pass play, and it was, it might have taken 3 or 4 seconds off the clock, incomplete. And then now you're in this position of where, well, damn, we're still at like the 30-something. We're going to punt. They're going to get it probably at about the 20. And if you get a good return, he can get it to the 40. And now all they need is 20 yards, 25 yards, 30 yards top to get a good field goal chance.
And think about this, man. We see this all the time. Game management, clock management has to be the hardest part of being a head football coach. Because you saw with like 240.
Dan Quinn.
But Andy Reid, 240, they ran 3 straight pass plays and they went 3 and out and they punted the ball away. Then the Bengals did what they did. They called a stupid timeout, and then they don't punt the ball out of bounds because the only way that they could get close to field goal range is to get a good return. And the only way to stop a good return is to not let him return it. Like he got it like at the 19 and he had like a 30-yard return.
Yep.
You could have just put it out of bounds. Maybe it doesn't get to the 19. Maybe it's at the 25. The Chiefs, Patrick had 300 yards, but they were ugly.
Well over. It was like 330, 329. Like it's something like that.
But they were ugly 300 yards. What about the fourth quarter said, hey, the Chiefs need to get 40 yards to get a long field goal? I think they'll get it. You wouldn't have bet that. We thought, because we didn't think they were going to get the yards that they got.
No, that's true.
We were sitting like, hey, we can get overtime. We can if Chiefs get the ball first, they go down, they get 3 in overtime. Bengals come down and get a touchdown.
Or a touchdown and then a matching touchdown.
Yeah, we were just sitting there like, we can get the over and we can get a Bengals good money. Oh, man, I was going to walk away a happy man. Because I had like 4 legs tied to that game, and they were just sitting there, just 4 separate parlays just sitting there waiting on that game to hit. And we're going to the fourth quarter. It's 2020. I go, I need a field goal. I need a Chiefs field goal and a Bengals touchdown. We'll get that. We ain't get shit. Bastards.
We got what we got? We got a defensive slugfest. That's what we got.
We did, but
Good game otherwise.
Good game. No, it was a good game. And hey, you remember when we opened the season and I said, hold your horses on this Mahomes, Josh Allen being a Brady Manning thing. It's really disrespectful. If you want to make a Brady Manning comparison, Mahomes and Burrow. Burrow's been to the Super Bowl in 3 seasons, 2 complete seasons. Joe Burrow's been to the AFC Championship twice and won one of them.
But Josh Allen does fit the Peyton Manning moniker a little better. Peyton didn't go to a Super Bowl until his first one, which was his 9th season. It took him 9 years to get that accomplished. And he statistically was everything. He was the best thing Indianapolis had ever seen, a la Josh Allen.
Whoa. You gonna give Jim Kelly some credit, buddy.
No, I'm not, because our group chat, or Justice at the bare minimum, at least kind of broke down why Jim Kelly shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. We just look at it because we didn't watch him play. But, I think that if you ask the people of Buffalo, they would even say, oh, no, Josh Allen's better. That would be like somebody bringing up Chris Chandler before Matt Ryan got to the Super Bowl and being like, well, Chris Chandler took us to the Super Bowl. Like, so he's better than Matt Ryan until he gets there, like type shit.
You think Josh Allen runs off the field like Joe Burrow goes, I am him? I am him?
No. Joe Burrow's got a chip. He plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Joe Burrow has black friends. Josh Allen doesn't. And I'm not calling Josh Allen racist by no means. And I know Josh Allen.
No, you're not calling him a Bosa, which I guess we'll get to one of the Bosa brothers at the bare minimum.
I'm afraid to talk about the Bosa brothers because they got mob ties, real deep.
You think that we might get a cease and desist?
Not a cease and desist. We might get whacked. Their grandfather was a major player. I want to say in the Genovese family. Talk about Burrow, or you can go to the other game with Jared Purdy and who cares about. Or
we will get into that, but I'll just put in a quick excerpt here just because TNT's on my screen. Giannis has 20 and 8 in the first half. They're down 7. Drew Holiday, the newly crowned All Star over Trae Young, which I know we're going to get to our All Star stuff. He's got 2 points and he's 0 for 6 in the first half against the Clippers, which is a team like on national TV that like at home you should probably play big against. But we'll get to that a little bit later. I just had to throw that in there just because it was on the screen. No, second game, obviously, anyone that watched knew what happened. We got the under, right? Thank God. But, yeah, I went San Francisco in that game, and I truly did expect them to play better. Part of it was because I just didn't want Josh to be happy. But the other half of it was that I really did think the 49ers could beat the Eagles. Like, I didn't think that they couldn't. And we'll never know because Brock Purdy gets hurt on the sixth play of the first drive of the game for the 49ers offense, and we didn't get to get the NFC Championship we wanted. We thought maybe they kept showing him over there. He never went to the back. So you're like, well, there's a chance he could come in reality. But we knew that Josh Johnson wasn't going to get it done because even with his specs, they're like 15-year guy, 13 teams. This is his third go-around with the 49ers. It was like weird-ass stats like that. It's just like, okay, so basically a guy that you guys feel comfortable with because he understands an offense. He's not good. He just understands an offense to where at least you're not. But this is why a team like the 49ers, when Baker Mayfield, for instance, went down, Sean McVay did it when Baker Mayfield was available, and I'm not saying Baker wins that game. He probably makes it at least a little more entertaining. But This is why you do something like that. If it makes your football team better, why don't you do it? Josh Johnson wasn't a capable quarterback, and he was available around the same time they got Brock Purdy, and it didn't mean that he was going to start over Brock Purdy. But why not bring him in? Because they didn't bring him in. I mean, for a workout. Gosh, can you take a look at him?
Because teams don't want competition in the quarterback room.
But there was no competition. Everything about Purdy was, well, we'll just see.
Well, yeah. Well, no, with Purdy, no. Purdy flashed a level of competence that we didn't expect. But you don't back Purdy up with somebody like Baker because Baker's going to want to play football. Baker might get Purdy's butthole a little tight, you know. Remember, and I put this in a group. Cam Newton talked about when he got cut by the Patriots. Like, yeah, Brian, I know why they cut me. It made sense because of my aura. That gravitas that he has, it shifts the room. And quarterbacks, they have the egos of 13-year-old girls in middle school, fragile, have not, they don't love themselves as much as everyone else loves them. They think that, they're kind of damaged goods. You gotta keep complimenting them and tell them they're the best all the time.
No, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't understand. I do understand it. Okay. I do understand it, right? I definitely understand it, but it's not a conversation I think I'm ready to have on this podcast, why the quarterback is treated the way that he is, because come on, man. Face of the franchise. When you have to have quarterback skills. You have to carry yourself differently from everyone else. Most important position on the field. Most overpaid position in the league. I mean, come on now. This guy can't be a quarterback. He doesn't have the EQ. He doesn't have the interpersonal skill. Is he good? Because I promise you, on every team, every quarterback's not the leader of the team. A la the Denver Broncos. We know Russell Wilson this past year was not the leader on that team. He may have been a leader, but he was not the leader of that team. He did not set the pulse for that team. And the crazy thing is, this next year, Russell Wilson's not going to be the leader of the Denver Broncos. He is not going to set the pulse for the Denver Broncos. It's going to be Sean Payton. It's going to be Sean Payton. Sean Payton's the type of guy, that when he is in your franchise, he's the face of that franchise, and when I don't like the way this looks. Sorry, guys. When he was the leader of the Saints, when he led that franchise and he had Drew Brees right there. Yes, Drew Brees is Drew Brees. One of the most statistically accomplished quarterbacks to ever play the game. That was still Sean Payton's team. That was still Sean Payton's culture. It was Sean Payton 1, Drew Brees 2. And now, Denver is moving forward with Sean Payton. And I'm excited to see what Parlay Pete thinks about it because, honestly, guys, we haven't talked about it together. I don't even think we gave our thoughts in the group text on it. But I think that this was a really good move for Denver because I think Sean Payton was probably the only coach available. Maybe Jim Harbaugh, but probably not. I think Sean Payton's the only coach who has the pelts on the wall, has the personality, and has the ties to Drew Brees, the relationship with Drew Brees, to get Russ to cook the meal that the team needs. Because they say Russell Wilson wants to transform into Drew Brees. Well, who else can help Russell Wilson transform into Drew Brees better than the guy who elevated Drew Brees from a pretty good quarterback, but that shoulder thing, to a first ballot Hall of Famer, a guy who second place in damn near every quarterback record. And I'm not going to put him in my top 5 quarterbacks. Just, the numbers, I'm sorry. He got a lot of counting stats. A lot of mass. The Saints were throwing the ball a lot earlier before the rest of the league was. But I think that
the ball more than anyone.
Yeah. But I think that Sean Payton, what I'll say was I think Sean Payton was the right hire. I think that Russell Wilson needs Sean Payton.
The best possible hire they could get.
Because I think he's the only coach that was available who can tell Russell to shut up. We need eggs. We need scrambled eggs. No. We don't want them sunny side up. We don't want them over easy. We need scrambled eggs with cheese in them. And that's the meal. Yes, we need cheese eggs.
Cheese eggs, huh?
Yes, we need cheese eggs.
Yes, Shane's a big baby the goat.
Daddy loves cheese eggs. But question for you. The Rams have basically traded 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and 3 NFL players for Wilson and Peyton. They're banking their entire future on these 2 men, the first of whom hasn't reached the Super Bowl in 8 years, the second whom hasn't reached the Super Bowl in 13 years. I think that's some ESPN bullshit fluff because the Russell Wilson trade, okay, that's one trade. But the Sean Payton trade, essentially you traded Bradley Chubb for Sean Payton. Who wouldn't take that trade?
Especially if you didn't think that Bradley Chubb would come back, and not to mention, even after you trade him, it's not like the defense fell off the cliff. He didn't
do much either.
Well, he would. I mean, I get it. Pass rushers are a dime a dozen around here, but like,
except for Atlanta.
Well, yeah, we're part of that dozen, but we're part of that dozen, especially on both ends of that. But hey, Vic Beasley gave us a really productive. He was an first team All Pro. So
Vic Beasley is about to go smoke the XFL this season. Somebody's about to throw $8 to $10 million at him next season.
I doubt that, but I bet he gets a 1 year, $4 million, $3 million.
Think
if
$4
he
million?
really does kill it.
I think he's gonna kill it, and somebody's gonna bring him back into the league, and then he's gonna
because nobody understood why he left to begin with. In reality, think about it, he just never showed up to Tennessee. And they gave him like $8 million.
From what I heard, it was COVID based. It was a lack of comfortability with the whole COVID situation, and that's kind of what happened there.
And then he just got blackballed, and nobody wanted to talk to him afterwards. I mean,
I think so. And if I'm putting a few things together, I think that when DQ wanted him to come to the voluntary OTAs his last year. And he was like, yeah, nah, I'll be here when I have to be here. I think when the phone call gets placed to DQ about, hey, tell me about this guy.
He shitted him. Well, he told the truth.
I mean, he did.
His opinion of his truth.
Right. And I mean, he did go out to Vegas for a couple games after the Tennessee thing happened. But yeah, no, for there to be so many pass rushers, but so many teams who still need them, and for him being the athletic freak that he is, I do think that it's there are things playing that we don't see on the front in the front side that may have disallowed him to be in the league, and not knowing who his agent is, but being somewhat familiar with who he's tied to. Mm-hmm. Well, Norman Parker, man, Georgia Stars, Norman Parker.
How's he tied to him?
Adairsville. That's like
he played ball too, obviously, I assume. But
yeah, and he played for the Stars too. But being from there, I think that's where Norman Parker lives. That kind of
just fuck things up a little.
I don't say it fucked things up. He's just not with CAA. You know what I mean? Like, when you're with a certain agent, you're gonna keep a job just because of that agent's clout. And well, hey, if we just give KCP a couple contracts, we might get LeBron.
Right?
If we give Thanasis a 2-way contract, Giannis might request to come here, something like little stuff like that. So I think maybe because of that tie, and again, I don't know who his agent is, but I know that, like, hey, if you want to book Vic Beasley, you got to go through Norman Parker. Mm-hmm. That could not play as well in the NFL because Norman Parker is not an NFL guy.
Okay.
Just like the reason why Lamar Jackson doesn't have national commercials and he hasn't received a contract is because he's practically representing himself.
Yeah, so his mother, him and his mom are coming.
He said, hey, bro, y'all ain't gonna come take our money because I'm top of the market So I should get paid top of the market.
Could you imagine if LeBron was? I get it, though, and which maybe we'll even get into that. How Bronny, when that anonymous college coach came out and talked about that, like, yeah, it's a weird situation. Like, you have to get in contact with somebody to reach his mom. Like, you can't even, as a coach, talk to him. I do think that is a little weird, but like at the same time, and then LeBron, I'm sure, even though we knew he was going straight to the league, LeBron had to have taken some college visits. Yeah, he went and visited Coach K, bro.
Look, come on, bro. He
had enough respect, even at the time.
And you know why? You know why?
Even they knew. K knew Bron was going straight to the like. They knew too, but they were like, "You sure you don't?" They're like, "Look at this hot bitch." Like, you know what I mean? Or hey, check this out. It's like I know they're giving you Hummers at not Mount St. Mary, St. Vincent St. Mary, but you're like, check out this plasma screen TV we got in the dorm in the fucking locker room, nigga. This shit crazy. It's a hey Lee, it's a 65-inch.
But I think for Bronny it's just a little bit different because getting close to Bronny gets you close to LeBron, and I think LeBron and Savannah, they need those buffers for who they are.
It's such an open secret where he's going to school.
USC or Oregon?
Oregon.
I mean, yeah, LeBron just opened up that facility up there.
It's a straight Nike thing, bro.
Yeah, and Bronny has the Nike deal already. He has the Beats by Dre deal. So, yeah, bro, you do got to go through different steps to get to this guy because whatever – my dad can get me a better NIL deal than you can give me. My dad –
well, more importantly –
my dad's manager.
We want more money, but honestly, we straight on that.
Right
now, it's about other stuff.
And with the coaches, if I were a coach, I probably wouldn't even recruit Bronny. I'd want Bronny to want to come into my program, but I would already know what comes with it. I'll know that it's going to be hard. You're going to spend a lot of hours for a 4-star that might be a 3-star.
Right. That too. There's that aspect of it. How good is he really? He's going to go to the NBA because his dad is in the league.
I think Bronny is going to go to the NBA. I think he will have a pretty decent NBA career. But I think that Bronny, if his name wasn't Bronny, I think that he could be a guy. I would think that he could be a guy that could wash out earlier. You know how Austin Rivers almost washed out of the league, then his dad gave him that contract. He played well, and now he's going to stay in the league.
He is a guy, too, though, that is like a solid role player. Right?
Yes.
And he was the number one player in my class.
But, solid role players, there are so many, solid role players that you got to have the right agent. You got to play on the right team at the right time. Be cool with the right coach or right GM who, this scout liked me coming out and now he's the assistant GM over here. So they're going to throw me a bone or again, I'm at CAA or I'm at Clutch and it's like, hey, you know how this goes, right? So I think Bronny's one of those guys like right now who be on the peripheral, but because of who he is, he gets to hang out a little bit longer. And I think he'll be good enough because I've watched him play some. He has a great feel for the game.
He should, low key.
And he's athletic as hell, and he can shoot better than his dad. At that age. They say Bryce, though. They say Bryce got the Bron body.
Well, he looks like he's tall. Well, he's taller than Bronny.
And he used to be fat. Bronny ain't never been fat. 2 years ago, Bryce was a little fat, frumpy motherfucker. No,
now he looks like a fucking basketball. Well,
he's like,
what is he grew into his body?
Yeah, that boy's 6'6", and he still got that heavy on.
Yeah, he'll probably gain another inch or two.
Pause. I know, but hey, back to Sean Payton, right? We're having one of those good pods where we're just all over the fucking place. Payton,
but this is what it's all about. And I had a gut feeling coming into it. I was like, man, we're gonna have. Not that we don't always necessarily, but I was like, we're gonna have a really good podcast tonight. Especially because we didn't have our best. Get into the Super Bowl preview.
Well, the last 2 weeks haven't been our best because we've been on these time crunches.
Yes.
And we're on the time crunches. It kind of it creates a level of focus that we don't always need because we can't go down the rabbit holes that we want to and like freely talk because we got to be done by this time. You're thinking about what you're doing next. Our minds are in a different place.
It's not as the flow isn't as great. It's
right.
Hey, let's figure out how we're gonna get this into this time and then not go overtime. But even if we go overtime, then let's quickly do the other one too. And then all that other shit that we talked about, maybe we can talk about it next week. If not, fuck it, type shit, right? Like
exactly. Sean Payton, Denver. That's the right move, right?
Correct move. I know that I had to get up and take a piss there, but
get some wine, you classy fucker.
And then because I wasn't even gonna drink it first, only because I was already at the bar. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna switch up the game. I'm gonna get myself a glass of wine. I'm a big Merlot guy. How about you?
I'm more of a cab guy, but you know what? I'm not mad at.
But red.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so all right, great. So we're both racist when it comes to white wine.
Oh God, I don't touch white wine or women.
Yeah, me neither. I'm racist.
Part of my
I'll cut that out and put it in a campaign if I ever run it. I'm racist. They'll just like
part of when we actually have the wedding weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I want us to shoot up to Napa.
Well, we have to
because we're right there. Just shoot up to Napa and just do a day up there. Because I told you what I want to do for like the bachelor party, but part of like the Friday night before Joel's wedding, we say we're not gonna do anything, but we are.
I don't think we're gonna go crazy.
We're not gonna go crazy, but we're gonna.
But yes, I absolutely know we're gonna do.
Even if it's just all of us at your house, like just chilling. Like
I'm fine with that. We can rooftop it.
Yeah, like
cigars.
Yeah, something's gonna happen.
If there'll be strippers there or not, but what I do know, we are. Well, I don't know if Magic City is down the street, and I'll leave that at that.
Yeah, no, there won't be any strippers in the house.
There'll be a lot of enticement going on, not for the soon-to-be married man or the married man, but the guys like Julian. It's his birthday's like the next day.
Right? So come on, it's his birthday.
It'll be all. Actually, no, that is his birthday. The night before the wedding is his birthday.
Yeah, he'll bring his birthday.
I think a good time will be had by all. We'll cut it off at an appropriate time because we're gonna have to get there early anyways. Even though that wedding is gonna be in the evening, correct?
Yeah, that's gotta go.
Like 4 or 5.
I think so.
So I know we'll have to be there at least by noon. I have to at the very latest, but
we'll have to take pictures.
That too, yeah. God.
I hope
nobody's gonna get too hammered. That's the best part.
Here's what I hope Boink does, and I'm gonna suggest it. Because the last wedding I was in, the groomsmen took most of their pictures. The groomsmen and bridesmaids like took most of their pictures before the wedding.
Okay.
So during cocktail hour, we had to do like just a few like group pictures, like bride and groom, a best man, maid of honor, groomsmen and bridesmaids all together. But we were able to like enjoy cocktail hour while they were taking family pictures and shit. But yeah. I saw Zoe posted the picture.
Yeah, I commented on it.
I did too.
I just love,
Man, my comment was kind of ironic. I said black love wins every time.
It does.
I just think love wins every time, and I think everybody who knows me knows I was being funny with my comment.
It's ironic for you.
Yes.
I just love.
I mean, me too, man. There's nothing more beautiful than love. And I'm confused why the AFC was competing against each other, the NFC were competing against each other in this dodgeball game.
Do they have, I'm sure, are you looking on IG? Is there like any highlights from it? Because when I left from where I went to go get dinner tonight,
Saquon got hit in the face by it looked like DeMario Davis from the Saints. If he made it, I don't know if he did, but it looked like him. Josh Jacobs hit Max Crosby, and Max Crosby didn't have a shoe on. hopefully JP doesn't see this and get him mixed up with
fucking Carl Nasley.
Yeah, that was funny. Like I read, I go wrong white.
That's why I had to comment it. I was just like, I was like, he's not gay, at least openly. Maybe he is gay, but I was like, he's not openly gay.
And there's nothing wrong with being gay openly or behind closed doors. You know, it's whatever makes.
Well, that's a touchy situation.
I know.
Nothing wrong with being undercover, but don't be undercover with the people that you deal with.
I think that
if you're an undercover at a random bar and you're not trying to pick on anyone, nobody cares if you're gay if you're talking about the game. But
don't be checking.
If you want to sleep with the guy, at least tell him.
Don't be.
Girl, if you're bisexual, but
the thing is, hey, don't be at the Airbnb with the guys checking guys out when they're walking through with their boxers on, going from the shower to their room to put on gym shorts and not put on a shirt because we're men and fucking men,
Right. Well, and that's your excuse for it. It's like, well, we're men. And then everybody's just looking around. It's just like, yeah, we are. Like, yeah, we are.
Let's see. Let's stay in coach land a little bit. DeMeco Ryans 6-year deal with the Texans. He goes back to where he I'm going home to a place where I belong. But he's going back to the Houston Texans. I think well deserved because of what that defense did under him. It actually got better.
Even than
Saleh. I'm curious to see a 6-year deal, which matters because they fired their last 2 black coaches after a year. Sticking with the diversity hire here.
They set that up, and you know it too.
Oh, duh.
Well, we knew they set it up because they were both such random hires, but we don't even know those guys didn't get fired. Put it this way, hiring him to a 6-year deal, they are not paying both coaches. Like how in college, like how Charlie Weiss is still getting paid by Kansas and Notre Dame. Like that is not happening with those guys. Those deals were set up to where they had it out. And they kind of knew it, and they were like, well, let me just see what I can do. I wouldn't have had this opportunity otherwise. And why wouldn't I do it? There's only 32 of us in the world. I
mean, Lovey sabotaged their first overall pick. I mean, we knew Lovey was fired, and I don't blame him.
Well, we knew that Lovey also didn't deserve to be the coach. I'm not mad that they hired him. They were like, well, in-house, he was on his staff. But the reality of it was this. Lovey hadn't coached in the NFL as a head coach in like 10 years. And then secondly, his stint in college at Illinois was terrible. He was bad there. He got fucking fired there. Like Illinois wasn't winning football games while he was there. And so it's just like, so let me get this straight. A guy that fizzled out in Chicago eventually takes a college job, was bad. And he was in Illinois for like 5 years. I mean, they did give him a little bit of time to get it together. And Brent Bielema is already, I'm not trying to praise white men, okay? But Brent Bielema, Illinois was good this year. They were ranked for a good part of the season. They lost to the Fighting Mike Leaches. May he rest in peace. But in their bowl game,
look here, Lovey's time has passed him by. Lovey,
yeah, the league was different. It's just different. Like that's why guys, especially guys like, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like that's why guys like Tony Dungy and Bill Cowher, they love their seats. I mean, because shit, let's just say somebody did throw the bag at Bill Cowher. Let's say that the Steelers, like Mr. Turner wants, let's say that they did get rid of him, and the Steelers literally came to Bill Cowher, and the Roonies were like,
20 mil.
Well, they set out a check, and they said, look, now this is how many zeros you get to deal with, and we're going to keep that first number between this and this. And we know you're going to take the max. So do I need to sign it or not? I think that, like, those type of guys, because the league is so different from even when they coach, they probably just couldn't do it. And even with Gruden being an offensive guy that was on that Packers staff, just like Andy Reid, he was a part of that Packers staff too with Holmes.
Steve Mariucci.
And he's a guy, but Steve fizzled out because he coached the 49ers were terrible. I mean, he was good, I guess, early because they had T.O. Like Jeff Garcia was still, Jeff Garcia reminds me of
Baker
he can
Mayfield.
run a little. I'm just trying like Case Keenum, but better.
I was thinking Case Keenum, but I was like, maybe Baker.
Case Keenum, but better. Because he's really a backup. Because think about it. Jeff Garcia took the Eagles to the playoffs, too. He was good with the Browns. I think that year the Browns won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs. He was the quarterback. Like,
you think Josh Holsey remembers the Jeff Garcia years?
Huh?
You think Josh Holsey remembers the Jeff Garcia years? Or
he probably doesn't. They made the playoffs with Jeff Garcia, though.
We got to get Josh Holsey on next week. Or maybe we wait. Maybe we wait till after.
I said he should join tonight. I said because we are going to talk about. I mean, even though there was not too much to talk about, I told him that we were going to talk about the Eagles. But you know what? Next week would actually be the better week. Which, speaking of next week, we're going to have to do. We're going to have to do that probably Wednesday.
Okay, cool. I don't have class Wednesday because I have class every other Wednesday. So this is my off Wednesday. So we like the D'Amico hire. We kind of talked about the Frank Reich hire a little bit, but then it kind of came out this week that the locker room's kind of split on it because a lot of those guys thought that Steve Wilks deserved the job. You told me in pre-production that right after the season was over, Frank Reich's daughter was hired by the organization, which kind of lets you know what's going on. Hey, Rooney Rule, it doesn't work. But I'm happy that Steve Wilks didn't get the job because Frank Reich's going to get fired in 2 years, and then he's going to be a lifetime coordinator. And I think that Steve Wilks built enough positive momentum that he's going to get another shot at being a head coach again.
And let me tell you who broke that for me, where I got that information that they're – and let me tell you.
I know Shefty didn't break it.
Huh?
You didn't get it from Shefty.
No. I'll tell you who. And I just love them, man. It's my favorite thing, clips to watch on YouTube, because I don't ever get to watch shows, really. But I will get on YouTube. I'll watch, Coward. I watch a little. It depends on what they're talking about. But like Pro Football Talk, I love listening to Mike Florio and Chris Sims. I really do. I like Florio.
Okay.
Florio's an attorney. And not that means anything, but he also is somebody that knows the legality of football, because he's obviously a commentator and he's been doing it. He sold Pro Football Talk to NBC. That was his thing, similar to Bill Simmons with Grantland. And so
I like Florio.
I think Florio, he, for one, speaks informed. His biasness, he's a Minnesota Vikings fan.
Oh, so who cares about his bias?
He doesn't really have a bias when it comes to really talking about football. He's from West Virginia. He talks about, like there are Jimbo Fisher and like Nick Saban are from West Virginia. There's like some weird group of people that are from West Virginia. He went to like West Virginia, and then I forgot where he went to law school. But like nonetheless, point being, he doesn't really have that many biases either. And
Chris
so
Sims isn't good.
He broke the story, but like an attorney, he was able to bring it up and say that this is going to be the case for Steve Wilks. And put it out there, point and drop, like point blank period. He's just like, this is what it's going to be. At the end of the day, if they're not able to prove that this wasn't a sign to begin with, he's going to win his case. And then that's kind of the way he went. And it was true. She did it. She had an Instagram post saying Carolina Panthers. And of course, if her dad played there, I don't know how old she is, but the Panthers' first game was against the Falcons, and it was in 1995. So let's say she's 27. That would make her 27 if she was just born then. She might have been born in Charlotte, for all we know. I don't know. Maybe it was in Buffalo when Reich was the backup still. Who knows? I don't know. But that's clearly how Reich got the job, because of that comeback he led. And so I just look at it kind of that way, because I know that Kerry Collins eventually was really the quarterback, because the Panthers, like the Jaguars, I think their second year, both of those teams went to the conference championship. I could be wrong, but 1996, if I'm not mistaken, both of them went to the conference championship. And Kerry Collins is the quarterback of that team. So my point being is that you start talking about, okay, this guy's daughter gets hired. What was that all about? Maybe she's qualified. I don't know if she worked for another organization that wasn't the Colts. We don't know. But the point is, Don't you think that's a little suspicious?
Yeah.
If your daughter got hired for a job with a firm that you were getting ready to take a job for, and you were you're a commodity, right? You're not just somebody, you're a commodity. There's only but X amount of people that can do what you do. And your daughter gets hired to a lesser position. I mean, wouldn't everybody be like, damn, did they do this for him? That'd be like Michael Jordan's son getting hired by the Wizards to be, when he was the Wizards president, to be
VP of sales.
Yeah, or I tell you, we'll do a rule. Let's use something that we do know happen. Derrick Rose's homeboy he gets fucking paid by Adidas every year. Like, yeah, they had to include that in the deal. Like, that was a part of the deal of him coming there.
Hey, want to listen to something so funny about this whole situation?
Yeah.
Hannah Reich's her name, and let's talk some white privilege here. Let's talk some nepotism here, and let's talk about somebody who failed to realize how like this stuff actually works, you know? She goes, I will put this to rest by saying that I applied for this job when he was still employed with the Colts. Sorry to ruin the fun. With a crying emoji. Nobody is saying that you got a job that you didn't deserve. We're saying that they're saying that giving you this job makes it easier to bring your dad in. We want your dad. So, hey, Hannah Reich, we're not coming at you. We're saying that David Tepper goes, oh yeah, hire Frank's daughter. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna bring Frank in anyways. No biggie, you know. So that's where she's missing it, and that's what. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that comes out because it gives us the conversation piece to talk about how so often in these conversations of nepotism and social justice and civil rights, those who benefit miss the point. They miss the point.
It's bigger than you.
It's bigger than you. Like,
and it always is.
Hannah Reich, you're not that fucking important. You are not that fucking important to that organization. I promise you. You could save them millions of dollars. You could come up with a great idea. I don't even know what the hell you do for them, but you can do something really great, and it's not going to fucking matter. Because guess what? It's about wins and losses. You're not going to affect wins and losses. Because operations can be pristine. You can have the best operations department in the whole fucking league. If you're losing games, the checks aren't going to be what you want them to be.
Exactly.
You can have one of the worst ran franchises in the league, Cincinnati Bengals, and you win games.
They're cheap.
I bet those margins look great.
Hey, let me let you know a secret too. What are they going to do with T. Higgins? Because they got to pay Jamar Chase.
And Tyler Boyd and Joe Burrow.
Well, they're not going to pay Tyler Boyd. The question is, are they going to pay T. Higgins what they're basically paying Jamar? I think that the rumor is that they either are going to trade his ass or, I don't know, a team like the Falcons, they look like they need another wide receiver.
We like big wide receivers.
Well, and I'd love to pay him. Just think about that for a second. Maybe I should have brought that up in Falcons first, but just think about that for a second.
So, Hannah Reich, not about you. Nobody gives a fuck about this. Is she even hot?
Is she?
Let me just be misogynistic for a second. Like,
I don't think it's misogynist. Let's just look at her. I am curious.
She's married. Hannah Reich Fairman. Oh God. She's married. She's private.
Okay, hold on. Well, then Google will show us.
370 followers. Wow, you're not using your clout at all, Missy.
I'm straight on it, but
I mean, I'm trying to think. Who does anybody we know? Does anybody know we know go for?
Yes, 2 people.
Your brother?
No.
Oh boy, I typed in Hannah Reich and I get some Germans. Ooh, not that Reich. 2 Dale.
Yeah, I think he would do it as a conversation piece for us. No, I'm not saying he would do it for the conversation piece, but it is a conversation piece. He's just like, yeah, he's like, I was banging her daughter like at one point.
You must be talking about Josh.
No, I'm saying that Dale was one of the people.
Okay, so who's number 2?
It's another one. Think about Pensacola.
Oh, the big Gambino.
Because she doesn't look small necessarily.
She's not big either. I mean, she's
I'm just going off the Google. I mean, there's very little on Google.
Yeah, I mean,
you're looking at the wedding picture where half of her body is covered by this man's arm.
No, I'm looking at her on
this one. Yeah, I'm just saying, well, she's not small. She might be like my size, like, because I'm not small. Like, I'm not fat, right? But like, I'm also a solid size. Like, I'm not small, dude.
If I were single, she would not be the woman I approached at the bar at 11 p.m. Okay, man, let's get out of here. We can talk about Frank Reich.
Yeah, let's get off him.
Let's see. Hey, Indy and the Cardinals haven't hired a coach yet.
I wonder why.
The coaching candidates are like, ooh, this Kyler contract and a year without him. Because, hey, guys,
who wants to coach Kyler?
I'm going to whisper like you. Hey, nobody wants to coach Kyler.
You should have just kept Cliff for at least one more year.
And they don't want to coach the team without Kyler either.
That's what it is, though.
I mean, I would not want a job knowing that my quarterback has already gotten paid.
Was already not that good, and he's an injury.
And he's a diva.
And he's an injury-prone player. It's not like, yeah, this is his first significant injury, but the brother missed out for them to go to the playoffs. Not even the year before that. Yeah. He basically dressed up and then gets in the last like 4 minutes of the game, don't warm up, and they throw him in as opposed to just starting him in the game. And then if he can't go, we pull him. No, let's put the backup in, and then now when things are kind of bad, save our ass. We're down like 10. Like, can you beat John Woolside or whoever the fuck the fucking backup is for the Rams? Like, can you beat him?
And we're talking about a guy who had a study clause put in his contract. Yeah, it got removed, but it was there and he signed it. So it tells you what you're dealing with. They're going to be bad next year. Mm-hmm. And they'll probably be bad the year after that. They're probably like they're going to start like unloading assets. So again, to me, it's similar to the Carolina job. It's one of those jobs for somebody. You bring in a guy like Jason Garrett for a job like that, you know?
They'll hire a black coach and then just get rid of him.
Yeah.
Somebody that's on staff.
Somebody you don't believe in.
Somebody that's like on Cliff's staff.
How come Jason Garrett hasn't got a second head coaching job? He deserves it.
Stanford wanted to hire him though.
And don't get me wrong, I don't know if he is one of the 32 best head coaches in the NFL, but
he's actually had enough success, especially considering it was the Dallas job. He had enough success in Dallas,
and a lot of
second head coaching job.
And his bad,
right?
His below 500 seasons, not like a 7-9 season, but his 3-win seasons when his starting quarterback got hurt and wasn't there. Like his bad seasons made sense. Again, I don't want Jason Garrett to come touch anything the Falcons have.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
But if Frank Wright could get another shot, I mean, come on, man. The clapper. Let's see what else. And come on, bro. Indy's stretching out the process just so they can just bring back Jeff Saturday and not get investigated by the league for not adhering to the Rooney Rule. Because rumors are a lot of these coaches don't want to deal with Jim Irsay because they think he's crazy. We didn't talk about it here.
I think he might have a reputation. You gotta remember, he got arrested like on like a DUI for like, and then he had like, I remember it was a wild thing because he was driving like a Passat, and so we're talking it's like a $30,000 car, 20. Which look, that's honestly regular. I think for billionaires, they always, when it comes to little shit like their clothes and their cars, the really really wealthy elite people. One of the things I know about Mark Zuckerberg, not to get too far off topic, he wears the same thing every day. I pretty much wear the same thing every day. And I'm not a billionaire, but like it also is one of those things where I remember in school, like you're sitting up and trying to figure out what it is that you want to wear. And it's just like, it really is stupid. I wear sweatpants every day. Sure, if I know I'm meeting with people or something, even then I've showed up to meetings with wearing just how I'm dressed now. I will wear a hat because it really doesn't matter what I'm wearing. It matters what we're talking about and what I'm going to do. So,
you know why I have this shirt on right now?
Why?
Because today I had to go deliver a certificate to one of our donors for one of our fundraisers.
Really?
Yeah. Normal days, I throw on sweatpants to go to the office. And I was like, I got to go shake hands with somebody in the community.
Kiss a couple babies.
Yeah, let me look decent. Tomorrow, I got to drop off another certificate before I go into the office. I will put on pants with a real inseam, belt loops, and a shirt with a collar on it. Because I'm also trying to get in, talk to this person about this fundraiser we're setting that we want to do. And she's the CEO of the fucking Chamber of Commerce. So she's important.
Right.
But yeah, like
means something to me, man.
Yeah, but like I was talking to the wife about changing up my wardrobe, and the only reason I haven't really changed it yet because I got to spend money to do it. But I'm really trying to get down to blank t-shirts, and the shirts I have that have collars on them, keep them just in case that if that's my required wear for my next career. But like for going out and hanging out with fucking t-shirt.
No, I love dressing plain. Like, I mean, I have like even the jacket I'm wearing. I'm sure you've seen this jacket before. Like,
but your shoes aren't plain there, buddy.
See, but that's the difference. When I go out, yeah, I wear like solid shoes, but my everyday shoes and stuff, I have beat up Yeezys. I love those Yeezys though.
Yeah, what now?
They're Yeezys, but like, bro, I mean, come on, retail they're like $200, $250 maybe. But like the thing is, they're beat the fuck up. Yeah, like I wear my beat up Yeezys. I'm a big New Balance guy. I love my gray New Balances. They're my favorite shoes.
Top 5 shoe ever made.
Huh?
Top 5 shoe ever made.
Yes, sir. They're like dad shoes too. I just love the shoes, but like I don't even like my really the expensive shoes I do own. I don't really wear them like that. I really don't. I mean, I'll throw on those the chunky donkeys every now and then.
Those are like but you wear your chunky.
So comfortable.
You wear your chunky donkeys like there's some bullshit. They're like
but I don't wear them that much like bullshit.
No,
they're so recognizable.
They're your going out bullshit shoes.
Yeah, because I know that people will spill, step, curb, slide. Like there's so much stuff that goes into it, right? But like
not your Nike Yeezys.
Oh, I won't wear I wear those at the casino. If I do wear them at all. Because I'll be inside all the time.
Or your Red Octobers.
Well, they're not. I don't have the reds, but Nike Easy 2s.
Or your Marty McFlys.
I don't have Marty McFlys. All right, now you're just making shit. Let's get off the shoes.
Or those Derek Jeter 11s.
I don't have those. It's got Giannis. I love these classic Bucks jerseys. Reminds me, I used to be a big Ray Allen fan when he was on the Bucks, and I always think on Sonic too. I had those jerseys when I was a kid, but I had specifically this Bucks jersey, and I love these jerseys. They're so nice.
I'd rather watch Ray Allen wear number 34 for the Bucks than Giannis. I hate watching Giannis's game.
Isn't it weird? Yeah, because like you would think the Bucks would retire Ray Allen's number. Like,
I think Ray Allen was kind of a dick. No one likes him.
He was there for like 8 or 9 years because he was only in Seattle for like 4, 5.
He was
more. Yeah, I think he gets remembered for the back end of his career more, but the dog that he was always there.
Yeah, Bucks
were a game away, which officiating apparently
AI
came in question in that game 7 against the Sixers. And I remember it when I was a kid, like because that's 01. I was like 7 or and I was 8. And so like I remembered it because I was I loved Ray Allen. I liked Allen Iverson too, but we were in Philadelphia when that went down because my mom is
from Dover, not Dover,
from Wilmington.
Wilmington, sorry, yeah,
Wilmington. Yeah. Wilmington is 25 minutes from Philly, so it's basically like a neighborhood of Philly. And just like people from Jersey, like there's certain parts of Jersey where you're from Philly, kind of like you're from Philly. It's the same thing with Delaware, and we were there when that happened. And like it was my birthday. Somebody died in my family. My uncle had died, and my mom's brother. And like my mom, which is what makes it so crazy. Just personal stuff here, real quick. She grew up, which is even for the Super Bowl, which we'll get to talk about a lot more in depth next week. But like, she grew up. I mean, my mom grew up an Eagles fan, so my mom's an Eagles fan too. She's a Falcons fan, obviously, and she did trade her allegiance in for sure. She did. No, she really did. But she also, when we were younger, like she had a Donovan McNabb jersey, but she also had a big Michael Vick jersey, and so like. She like myself went up there by herself for the NFC Championship game though. When we did, she went for both games actually, the NFC Championship and the other one. And my mom, who was it? Somebody said something about me being Josh said something about because Pierce something, and I was like, no. I was like, and Josh has went to a football game with my mom, so like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm just like, motherfucker. Are you
Josh Hosey is a raging liberal.
But the thing is that like my mom, like if he knows anything about the shit talking aspect of it, my mom talks more shit than anyone. I got into a predicament about that shit when I was 15 years old when we played the Arizona Cardinals. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, these Hispanic Cardinals fans were like, for me at the time, it was kind of scary because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, man, because like I knew that my mom talked, but then there were like people really trying to press it. I knew what to do in a sense of, well, you're not going to put your hands on my mom type shit. But it was really just me and her. And like, it's not like my dad or my brothers were there. Security, we were in the stadium, like walking out after the game and we lost. And like people were talking shit to us. I got my Michael Turner jersey on. I don't know what she had on. We didn't have Tony G. She might have had a Michael Turner jersey too. But point being, it's just craziness is all I'm saying. This is a bunch of craziness.
How the hell did we get there?
Fandom.
To close out the NFL, we got to change the Pro Bowl again. And here's where we changed the Pro Bowl. Because Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl, and that's bullshit, all offense. I'm not going to say no offense. No, you shouldn't be a fucking Pro Bowler. Las Vegas Raiders said, hey, Derek Carr, you're not good enough. Go home. You shouldn't be there. Trevor Lawrence, I'm okay with you being there. Glad you're there. Shout out to the Ville. Shout out. I get it. Joe Burrow don't want to go. Josh Allen, you don't want to go. You'd rather go play in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. I'm not going to say I'd rather be in Monterey, California than be in Vegas. Honestly, if my wife were in here, I'd say I'd rather be in Monterey because that's where she's from. but she's not in here, so I'd definitely rather be in Vegas. But here's
For
what
the wedding.
Huh?
For the wedding.
I'm just saying in general.
Oh, you'd want to live in Vegas?
No, I'm saying B. If I had a weekend, if I was going to go play golf and
Oh, you'd rather play it in Vegas? Yeah. Well, that makes sense, though.
But here's what I propose about the Pro Bowl. For one,
take it back to Hawaii.
Take it back to Hawaii. Yeah, that's step one, because a flight to Orlando, a flight to Vegas is very easy.
NFL players do that shit all the time. But if you get a whole week in Hawaii, they'll bring the whole fam. Everybody's more entitled to do it.
Because Hawaii is internationally expensive, is an internationally expensive flight. And it's inconvenient enough that it's like, I'm good off that. But if we get a reason to go, okay, we'll go. If you don't show up and you're not in the Super Bowl and you're not hurt, you don't get credit for being a Pro Bowler. Because back to that conversation we had earlier this week in the group text, I didn't watch Dan Fouts. I didn't watch Sid Luckman. The only thing I can do to understand who they were in their generation is go back and look at their awards. I can't even look at their stats for real, because the way the game has changed so much, the stats don't tell the true story. But if I see, he played 12 years, 7-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, you go, he's one of the best guys.
Well, yeah, you're certainly 7-time All-Pro.
Right, or even 5-time All-Pro in a 13-year career, you go, 5 years?
Can I just to give the viewers and listeners an insight? So Dan Fouts, if you don't know who he is, he was the Chargers quarterback from the 70s, the mid to early 70s to the mid to late 80s.
He was the Chargers quarterback before Drew Brees.
Years. He went to the Super Bowl, I believe. They went to one. No, I know they went one with Sayal. No, they didn't go to one. They didn't go to one. They went to one. They played the 49ers. The year the biggest Super Bowl blowout ever was.
That's the story. That's the interview I got to get set up, because I know somebody who was on that 49ers team, and from his mouth, he told me that they were drinking in the locker room at halftime.
I'm not surprised. And so, but to just look at Dan Fouts, he never won an MVP. He somehow won the NFL Offensive Player of the Year, though. He didn't win MVP, but he won Offensive Player of the Year. Maybe 1982, I'd have to look who won it. I know it wasn't the Lawrence Taylor year. There was a year a kicker won the NFL MVP. Did you know that? He was a Washington Redskin. I swear to God, look it up. Kicker won MVP one year. League's such a joke. And maybe this was the year. I don't know. He's a 2-time first-team All-Pro, though. So that's one more than Matt Ryan. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 2 more than Matt. But also, the year that Matt had the MVP-like numbers and they went 7-9, Mitchell Trubisky made the Pro Bowl. And I almost feel like Matt turned it down, because there's no way that they asked him. And then I feel like if you're an alternate and if you turn it down, then you don't get the nod.
And here we go. That's another thing.
If you're an initial one, you can turn it down and get the nod.
No. If you don't go,
there's no way that Matt, as an alternate that season, he was better than Mitchell Trubisky.
I'm with you.
So
my thing is, if you don't go, you don't get the nod, because you open the door for somebody who does not deserve to go to get the nod. And what happens when it's been 15 years since this guy's played? The media, the media voters have changed. There's a different perspective of this guy, and you go back and you look at the resume, and the resume makes you you have enough counting stats, and you have enough Pro Bowls with an All-Pro or 2 sprinkled in there to make it look like you're one of those guys, right? Like if you look at Karl Malone, I think Karl Malone's a prime example of this. He has an MVP. No, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's got 2 MVPs.
He has his 2 MVPs.
Well, now 3rd all-time in scoring.
He's 3rd all-time in scoring, but he retired as number 2. In MJ's era, multiple finals opportunity.
Dream team starter.
Yes. And if you go back and if you look at his his stats, his awards and stuff like that, you go, damn, MJ, Karl Malone in the 90s. But if you go back and watch the basketball, you go, hey, Charles Barkley was better than Karl Malone.
No, but he wasn't.
Bullshit.
Statistically, he was not better than
No, I'm not talking statistically. I'm talking about if you go back and watch, if you watch Charles Barkley versus Charles Barkley.
Check this out. Because I'm glad you brought him up of all people.
Okay.
2 MVPs, 14-time All-Star.
Okay.
2 All-Star game MVPs. Now, which I know that doesn't.
I don't care about that.
It still is something. 11-time All NBA first team. 2-time second, 1-time third. 3-time All Defensive first team. Defensive second team once. All rookie team. And of course, he's pretty much looked at as the greatest player in Jazz history.
Do they have in there also the child he had with the teenager?
No. And
okay,
then of course his daughter, Cheryl Ford, doesn't even have the same last name as him. So that should not that having the same last name necessarily matters.
Hey, so you read that resume, he almost sounds like a top 10 player of all time, right? Would you put him in your would you put him in,
know about the league, sure.
Would you put him in your top 10?
I've never put together a top 10.
You wouldn't put Karl Malone there.
Probably not, honestly.
And the point that I'm making is
Kobe's a 1-time MVP too.
Well, yeah, that's bullshit. But
it is. But I'm just simply saying. But that's why even when we look at the stats, it really doesn't tell the story.
It doesn't. But we were there to watch it, so we understand.
You think Jokic is going to be in the Karl Malone territory, don't you?
Fucking right.
I don't.
But we watched it, right? We watched Kobe, we watched Shaq only get 1 MVP, and it doesn't speak to their dominance because we were there. But our daughters are going to look at the stats. They weren't there.
But they're not going to know what we tell them.
They're not going to know. Hold on. They're going to know what we tell them, but they're not going to know what it actually meant to be there. And when people talk about Freaknik to us, they go, dog, you just had to be there. Well, we weren't. We were too young.
We weren't, but I went to AUC, and which I know that's what kind of kicked off Freaknik anyways, the AUC.
Yes.
I've been to our homecomings, and so granted, there's not women fucking shaking their ass butt naked on cars.
That's at Howard.
But it's a shit show, and if you can make it alive and get out of there, you can get the Freaknik at the house. So or on campus or whatever. But
still, when you're not there, you don't feel it the same way. And taking it back to this Pro Bowl shit, right? Is Mitchell Trubisky has never been a Pro Bowler in his fucking career.
No, he went that year.
No, I know he's went.
He has never. But I swear that there's no way they didn't ask Matt Ryan to go that year. He had 38 touchdowns and 7. He had the MVP season all over again, and he didn't get a Pro Bowl nod. Okay.
A Pro Bowler is a top 6 quarterback. Is a top 6 quarterback in the league, give or take.
Top 3 at least in your conference.
Top 3 in the conference. Mitchell Trubisky has never been a top 3 quarterback in the NFC in his fucking career.
Agreed. They went 12-4 that year, I believe. But
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Josh Allen gets 2022 Pro Bowler on his resume. And he said, fuck you guys. I'm too hard to go to the Pro Bowl. I'm going to play golf.
I know you like to use it for Urban Meyer, but
not even that. Screw you guys, I'm going home. Okay, that's it. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And I don't like it. I think we need to preserve the Pro Bowl is fucked already, but we need to preserve.
Tyler Huntley with 3 interceptions and 2 touchdown passes is the bottom of the barrel version of what this game means and what that weekend means to the NFL.
And what I think
look at this. You see this? That's what this is, or this.
And the point of the weekend is to get.
Yeah, I got you. That's what they're saying.
and maybe because the guys hang out together more. The point of that weekend is to get them together, right? The guys. It's when you get John Elway, Dan Marino, a Troy Aikman, a Steve Young, get all these guys together in the same hotel.
The legacy of the NFL.
Yeah, and it's about that brotherhood of, back to what Dion said, Some of these people in the Hall of Fame ain't in my Hall of Fame. And it's getting the best of the best together. And it's like, hey, dog, we about to go play pickup right now. And you got somebody like Shannon Sharp saying to Playmaker, hey, I bet John bust Troy Aikman ass. I'm already gonna bust your ass, Playmaker. And Prime, don't even think you're gonna come over here. Yeah, you think you're too skinny, boy. You know what I'm saying? And you get that. Man, what the fuck you think Tyler Huntley gonna do if he were to walk in on a spades game or a dice game, and you actually had the guys that you had like Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and even Lamar sitting there, and Tyler Huntley come in there like, hey, y'all gonna deal me in? Get your broke ass. Fuck out of here. Who let this nigga in the room? Who let this nigga? Who let him come to Hawaii?
He's like, they're like, hey nigga, this the 8-figure table. Now, look, we get it. You rich too, nigga, but you ain't rich. All right, get the fuck out of here.
We betting your game check each hand.
They're doing you've seen Above the Rim, right?
Yeah.
So they're like how Birdie, Tupac's character, was to Marlon Wayans' character when he came in and he said something, and then he's like, this nigga Tupac or Birdie, he's like, where are we going? He's like Jamaica, Las Vegas, and he's like, get the fuck out. He's like, get the fuck out. Like he embarrassed him, which obviously came back to bite him at the end of the movie because he shoots him. But that embarrassment.
Yeah. And
he didn't belong there. He wasn't a hooper and he wasn't a drug dealer.
And you hear the NBA players talk about how predatory the Blu-ray games used to be, where you got somebody on a max contract playing against somebody on a rookie contract, and they just start running the hands up because they go, if I lose 100,000 tonight, it's okay. I can come back tomorrow, and nigga, I'll take your whole salary. And you gonna owe me the whole season. And I know when you get paid. I know how much you get paid. I ain't gonna ask for it all right now. But you're gonna walk home with $10,000 instead of whatever you're supposed to make, you know. So I just think that the Hall of Fame, the Pro Bowl, even the NFL awards thing, right? I think it's a place that's supposed to be where those guys go. And that can take us into our next topic of NBA All-Star, because NBA All-Star weekend is also one of those weekends that's supposed to be for them guys up top to play on Sunday, obviously. And it used to be a place where the younger stars would show out on Saturday. And then you have the young boys, the up and comings, show out on Friday in the rookie sophomore game. I'm glad they brought back rookie sophomore and not US.
But they also have added this year. It's
but they brought in the G League. They got G League. They added some G League.
Scottie Pippen Jr. is playing in the game.
And Scoot Henderson. Shout out to Georgia, Cobb County, Kill High School. They got the G League guys there, and then they're letting like Mac McClung, a G League guy, participate in the dunk contest.
But I'm excited. The dunk contest needs the infusion. I don't give a fuck, because there are guys that just have ridiculous bounce, and that's why they're even in the G League.
I think there are guys in the G League who will make the dunk contest, as far as watching dunks, better, because LeBron, along with social media, has ruined the dunk contest. Okay.
All right.
But hold on, Parlay Pete. All-Star Weekend is supposed to be reserved for a select group of people. And a G Leaguer, somebody who may never, ever lace them up and play on the big boys court. You know, when you play pickup, there's sometimes in a lot of gyms, there's multiple courts. There's a court that everybody can play on. There's a court that you want to play on. Some people don't ever get to play on the court that you want to play on. And I don't think that those people in the G League deserve to be a part of All-Star Weekend, because that is the pinnacle of the NBA. That's
the recognition of, to this point, this season, And
Come on, bro.
of course, we know that there's a little bit of
Politics.
yeah, like going into it, like Kevin Durant, let's say him and Zion, for instance. My assumption is they might play.
Katie
I
said
think they're both kind of set to return like right before it. But they should, based on what they've done, they are like Zion should be starting, in my opinion, of how the Pelicans play. Like that's a guy that should be starting. KD was basically on pace to be he could be the MVP this season if he didn't get hurt. Like KD's numbers are MVP worthy.
Yeah.
And how hot the Nets got too. Like once there are guys like that deserve it no matter what.
I don't know how Zion's played 29 games, so yeah, he does. Yeah.
But if you look at his stats, the numbers are there to be a starter.
Well, yeah, he's 26, 7, and 5.
And what their record, they were like number 2 in the West. Like, so like, yeah, he should be starting. But and plus, it's about the fans too, man. The fans want to see that shit. Like I do want to see Zion and LeBron guard each other. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Like we want to see that shit. And there's always a little hometown bias, right? But like I want to get into the reserves of the East.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna get there. That was really the spin in. It's just that like, hey, this is a weekend for the guys, right? Them, the max contracts, the super max guys. Like, hey, Laurie deserves to be there based on the way that he played. But he ain't getting no minutes. He gonna be one of the drunk niggas at the end of the bench.
It's certainly for that last quarter.
Oh yeah, when they go to the when they go to the
Kobe Bryant round, let's just call it that, the Kobe Bryant round, because it's the Kobe Bryant round.
And when you watch, and since they've done that, when you watch the 5 that are on the court, it's not even the best. It's not even the best individual 5 players. It is the best.
It's the pickup game, bro. It's
because you remember
it honestly becomes
2 years ago. Kyle Lowry was in there on crunch time because
he'll take a charge.
He'll take a charge. He's gonna play.
And he put his time into the league,
but he deserved to be there.
It'd be like him and Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul is an entertaining player. He's an all-time great. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot. But like, think about it, that one year. Like CP was hurt, and like they subbed him in so he could get either an assist or a point, and then like he didn't play the rest of the game. Like there are certain dudes, especially the littler guys, specifically, to where
was it last year or 2 years ago that CP was out there though?
He never won an MVP in the game.
No, he hadn't. But CP was out there because if CP's healthy, he's still CP.
But he's a LeBron guy. I mean,
but he's CP.
Look, I used to tell Justice all the time that when we played and this is how far we're going back, NBA Live. When we played live, he would pick the Warriors. Now, this was like with Mark Jackson. He would take the Warriors and he would shoot nothing but threes. He basically run the offense that they're running now. And I picked the Clippers. I would pick the Clippers a lot because they were just so talented. I was like, man, my bench is loaded. like even when the computer auto subs that shit, I'm like, man, hell yeah, I'll run with JJ Redick. Like, get out of here. Danny Granger's coming in because his ranking is still high, even if he's always injured. On the game, he's still Danny Granger. He's still a 75 overall coming off the bench at small forward. But point being, CP I always thought I thought he was the best point guard in the NBA. I thought he was better than Steph Curry. And, of course, Steph now.
Point guard, yes, but combo,
He was that dude in the Hornets that year. It's funny because somebody put up that picture, maybe it was you, of Carmelo and AI in Denver. And I explained, I was like, first of all, they basically only played together 2 years because AI got traded in the middle of the season or in December before All-Star break to Denver. And they still were a playoff team, of course, because Denver was a playoff team. And then they played the Spurs. I mean, it was a bad draw. It was a 3-6 matchup. The Spurs won the NBA Finals that year. They swept the Cavs. So, like, okay, unfortunately.
Oh, bro, it was a trash post. I just posted it just because.
No, I know. But I just broke it down more. The next year, they won 50 games and were the 8th seed and had to play Kobe in the first round. Like, and the Lakers went to the finals that year. They didn't win. They lost to Celtics, but Kobe, they had to play fucking the Lakers in the first round as a 50-win team. It was just an unfortunate time. And AI, although still in his prime, was in the twilight of it. And it just didn't work out. But back to the All-Star reserves and the guys that deserve to even be there.
Hey, you ready for me to read off the reserves?
Go ahead.
All right, so Eastern Conference reserves. Joel Embiid.
Deserving.
DeMar DeRozan.
I don't think so.
Hey, can you pull up his numbers while I'm reading through the other names?
Here. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown.
Deserving.
Bam Adebayo.
I have to see who he's going against.
He's averaging like 20 and like I think.
Here, I'm gonna do different tabs. So all right, I got DeRozan. Let me get you said Bam.
Yeah. J. Rue Holiday.
No.
Julius Randle.
No.
Tyrese Halliburton.
Yes.
That's your East. Your West reserves. Ja Morant. Easy.
Yes, of course.
DeMontis Sabonis. Easy.
Yes.
Shai Gilgeous. Easy.
Yes.
Paul George.
Missed some time, but I know this name recognition and stats too.
And he's just him. He's still.
Hold on, let me pull up Paul George too.
Dame Lillard.
Oh, come on,
bro.
He might need to start. I mean, he's not going to start because of you're not going to take him over Luka or Steph. But yeah,
you saw what he did to Ja last night. That was personal.
Oh, that was a young nigga. Know your role and shut your mouth.
Yeah. Laurie Marketing.
Yeah, maybe.
He was close enough to being an all-star, and because
in Utah, that's like the big reason why he's in.
Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr.
No, absolutely not. Like, absolutely not.
I think Triple J gets in because
you're trying to bring up the defensive stuff.
No. I mean, yes,
injured for a good part of the start of the season.
He's
no. It's hey, look, my man. What's his name on American Idol? His name's not Reggie Jackson. Randy Jackson. It's a no for me, dog.
Bro. Yeah, no, he's 16 and a half and 7 rebounds a game.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Those are all-star numbers. I guess they're trying to
he could be the best defensive player in the league, and those aren't all-star numbers. I guess guys like Ben Wallace used to make the all-star team. Like, I get it.
I guess it's to get a second player from Memphis there.
But see, no, it only makes sense for the Celtics. It makes sense that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are in. That makes a ton of sense. They've been the best team pretty much all year.
So looking at this list, I think James Harden is the biggest snub. He's like 22-11.
The Sixers are second right now in the East.
And he missed games. But like now that they have their rotation, I think by the end of the year, the Sixers are going to have an argument for the best team in the East. And I'm getting close to saying they will be the best team in the East. I got to see what happens with the trade deadline. Because the Sixers have something that nobody else in the East has an answer for.
What's that?
Embiid.
Is it Joel Embiid?
I think Joel Embiid and James Harden as a combo provide.
Well, on paper,
they provide the most diversity in skill sets.
Because Joel can get in foul trouble. And honestly, James Harden can take over the game.
Yes. But like,
James Harden doesn't even play that way anymore. Like, have you watched them play? Like, for real?
Yeah. James Harden is.
I bet on the shit and watched. I took a James Harden over. I'm not trying to cut you off either. I'm just sorry. I'm like excited.
No, we're good.
I cannot believe how he doesn't play the way that he plays anymore.
I think he's trying to play winning. I think he's trying to play more like winning.
He's buying into whatever Doc's telling him.
Yes. And he's averaging 11 assists, man.
I agree. He should be in.
And the sports media
I don't
say
take him over Tyrese Halliburton because the Pacers were supposed to be in the Victor fucking sweepstakes, and they're not. Like, they're a playoff team. So I cannot not have Tyrese Halliburton in it. Like,
I can not have Drew Holiday there.
Yes, take Drew out and put Harden in. I'm with you.
I think Drew Holiday is a really good basketball player, and I would love to have Drew Holiday on my team. But every good basketball player is not an all-star.
Giannis is choking right now. I'm sorry.
What's new?
And it came back. They were down 21. They're up one with 15 seconds, but he got the rebound. Nobody was fouling him. He was bringing it up, and then he just behind backcourt threw it to Connaughton, and it went out of bounds. So now the Clippers have the ball with 15 seconds.
Hey, carry the show real quick. I got to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So talk about All Star something or Giannis.
Yeah. Well, because we're talking about Drew Holiday, he's guarding Kawhi Leonard currently. So let's see what he does since he's an All Star. Wow. The Milwaukee Bucks beat the LA Clippers. Drew Holiday was not guarding him, but I mean, what a defensive stand. Who is this? Is that Wesley Matthews? Unbelievable. Unbelievable the way that the NBA works. It's so crazy. I mean, I love basketball. Basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court, but unbelievable. I mean, but just to get back into the All-Star portion of this, at the end of the day, I am of the belief, just like a lot of people that watch and listen to basketball, that there are always going to be snubs. Nobody's always going to be happy about it. But I mean, what a stand by the Bucks here. They just came back from 21 down and won this game, and I had the money line. I'm very happy about this. But at the same time, I still need one more thing to go right for me for my parlay to win. But I was just essentially kind of getting into obviously Harden over Holiday. They gave Drew it because the Bucks are a premier team in the league. Giannis is, some would argue, probably the best player in the NBA. He had 50 tonight, too, by the way.
Such a bad TV product.
Let me see. Let me make sure, because they had put that stat up. I want to confirm that it was 50. Yeah, he had 54. He had 54 and 18.
Shit.
He's a dog. He's a fucking dog, bro. If he could honestly just develop some sort of a one-on-one, like, step-back three game, bro, he'd be the best player in the NBA.
I don't even think he needs a step-back three. If he could just catch it, and if he could just shoot, like, in rhythm, like a non-step
They're
shot.
showing the highlights. He's making threes, but, like,
Consistently.
you know how they do these highlights. I'm just
So
saying.
here,
Hey, wait. I want you to listen to this. Seriously. His last three games. Tonight, 54-18.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days ago, 34-18. 2 days before that, 50-13. The guy's an animal. I mean,
no, he is.
He's an animal.
Hey, you should be careful calling a black man an animal.
He's the non-perimeter KD of the NBA, and probably obviously a better rebounder, of course, with 18 rebounds in 2 of your last three games. And you average 12. He is what Shaq was in terms of dominance. He's the most dominant player in the league. Is that fair? Can we agree with that? Dominant.
Yes.
He's the most dominant. Like, LeBron is dominant, but like LeBron's dominant and they'll lose by 20. Like, this same Clippers team beat LeBron by 20, and we talked about how LeBron had like 46, and it's just like, but they lost by 20. This nigga is winning games, and he's scoring 50 and 18.
So this list right here has your biggest.
This was a new career high for him.
Good for him. Get a 60-piece.
Big game, 21-point comeback.
That's nuts.
It is.
Hey, we got Jalen Brunson. That's one of the biggest snubs.
No.
For all of you guys.
Place on the East. If Harden deserves Drew's spot, what guard spot does he take?
I'm just
Even though there's like 2 wild card, correct? To where you can get like just 2 other players.
I don't know what position DeMar went in as.
Oh, okay. I could argue that. So when you brought up those names, here I have DeMar stats. These are DeMar stats. Now, this is on losing basketball, people. Let's just remember that this team has a losing record. The Bulls probably aren't going to the playoffs. They're not good. They might be getting ready to trade them because they need to blow this smelly team up. 26, I'll round it up, 26, 5, and 5. Pretty good. Those are all-star stats, low-key, but like Trae Young deserves
Trae Young
to be
has better numbers, yeah.
Trae Young averages 27 and 10, and they have a better record than the Bulls. So
the league doesn't like Trae Young.
I don't give a fuck if they like him or they don't. The nigga's still averaging 27 and 10.
I'm with you. Dang, why did that post go away? But they also had Ant-Man on there. They had Swipe of the Fox on there. James Harden, who we've already talked about, and I don't even remember the other one. But honestly, we can talk about these snubs, and there's always going to be snubs, and I'm pretty sure you were saying this while I was gone. But rarely is there somebody who actually doesn't deserve to be there. Like, my argument would be Jaren Jackson Jr. this year, But even DeMar DeRozan, bro, he's averaging 26 in the league.
But everybody's numbers are ridiculous. So,
but DeMar also has the cachet. He probably has. I mean, DeMar DeRozan and besides Devin Booker, who else plays wing the way we grew up watching a 2-guard play wing? And I know DeMar doesn't play the 2 technically anymore.
He doesn't shoot the 3 ball. He's such a throwback player because he's a mid-range shooter.
Again, him and don't get me wrong, Devin Booker can shoot the 3. He shoots the 3 much better than DeMar, but their game is get to a spot, pull up.
He's winning games too. I think that does become a part of it.
I agree with you.
Trey, this is what I argue. The Hawks are currently, as of today, fuck the play-in. Let's say the play-in doesn't exist. The Hawks are actually still in the playoffs. The Bulls aren't. He's averaging more points and more assists. And he was the first year that he was an All-Star, he was a starter on a losing Hawks team.
I remember.
So
that was fan vote.
That's true, but he still was putting up the numbers to justify it.
But
maybe not to be a starter, but it was justifiable that he was an All-Star, period. I don't like that. I don't like that Trey's not in. And look, and I'm on board with you. Trade him for SGA. Like that's what I want. I want to trade for SGA.
My new trade is Ant-Man.
Specifically SGA. I'm the one that kind of brought that in. But I would trade him if I could get SGA. I would do it. Just make a straight up trade. But
no, my new trade is Ant-Man. Ant-Man doesn't want to be in Minnesota. Bring him home.
Either or. I mean, I'm okay with both because with SGA, DeJounte can still play his role currently with Trey. But with Ant-Man, then DeJounte, the offense is running through because he is the point guard. So it works either way. I would do it. I would do either or if I could.
And we're better when the offense runs through DeJounte.
No shit, Sherlock.
But hey, DeMar,
we watched them. Now,
hold on, real quick. This is DeMar's
like last night. Trae Young, he does want to play that ball, and on defense, when they play good defense and they're not fouling, that's what the Hawks can be.
Yeah, Trae can't guard.
They can be that, but they can really be that team. I said it earlier in the group. The Hawks, talent-wise, in terms of lineup 1 through 9, the guys that are on the floor, they are a top 10 talented team in the NBA.
Yeah, but they're
maybe they're like 9 or 10.
But they're mid in everything.
Team in the league.
But they're mid in everything.
Would the Hawks win the NBA Finals if Anthony Davis and LeBron James somehow could get traded for Trae Young and DeJounte Murray?
Yeah, probably.
LeBron would run the 1. He'd be your 1. He would have to run the point. Collins, well, you have to get rid of Capella maybe too. But like,
I mean, but then
I tell you what, Collins, Capella, DeJounte, Trae for LeBron, Westbrook, and AD. The Hawks will be the best team in the East.
Yes, because you know what, Russell
AJ Griffin, Bogdanovich,
Russell Westbrook is playing really good
Okongwu.
basketball. Russell Westbrook's playing good basketball.
He is.
6 man of the year
Which is
favorite.
why they low-key can't trade him.
6 man of the year favorite right now. But hey, DeMar, this is his sixth All Star game, and he's been a 3-time All NBA player, so he has a little cachet. He did play a LeBron toe back in the day. I got a question for you. Who's the best team in the West? Just give me an answer.
It's
Don't give me an
Denver.
explanation yet.
Right now, it's Denver.
Who do you think wins the West?
Can't answer that. I'm not of the belief that Denver necessarily can't do it.
You don't think they will do it? You would take the field over Denver?
Yeah, I would.
I could give you your top. I could give you your top 2 teams in the West. You take the field.
I'll give you 2 dark horses.
Okay.
Based on Vegas odds, and I'm not even looking at Vegas odds, but like on Vegas odds, the Pelicans with Zion is somebody I would talk about.
Okay, a little
I
fat
would
ass.
talk about it. Like I'd talk about it, and
Okay.
because it doesn't seem real. But if Zion is who this generational talent, the way that he was hyped up to begin with, and he comes back and he does what he's been doing and what they did do before he got hurt,
Okay.
why wouldn't they be able to make a run this season when it's wide open?
They're too young.
No. Well, some teams get over those growing pains eventually.
D-Wade.
I would say coaching more than anything would be their fault, potentially. That not that Willie Green's a bad coach, but that he would get out coached in a series to where they're the 2 seed and then the 3-6 matchup, the Warriors are the 6 and they win, and then they go to New Orleans as a 2-6 game in the second round, and then they lose in 7 or 6.
Give me Stephen Kerr.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to take Kerr, and you're going to take the Warriors regardless, even if they're the 6 seed. But dark horse-wise, give me Pelicans, and I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with you as long as they stay healthy, man. Give me the Lakers. I think that, like,
Hove did.
I'm a believer in LeBron, and I have been probably the last 8 years. And so it took me a minute to honestly trust LeBron as a meaningful basketball game player. And it wasn't necessarily his fault. It could have been his team's. It's just more so of I've seen a guy take over games wearing that same type of jersey, and he had nothing. And then sometimes when he did have something, he always won. So, like, LeBron didn't always win with something. So that was kind of like my issue with him. He didn't always win when he did have something. Kobe pretty much always won when he had something.
Your issues with LeBron.
What are my issues?
No. Your issues with that LeBron that you're talking about was a guy who would make the right pass, and sometimes making the right pass is the wrong decision. Or sometimes Kobe would take the wrong shot, but it would end up being the right decision. And there is not a way to argue that, because when you make the right pass and the role player knocks down the corner 3, great play. Or when you pull up for that, no, triple team fadeaway, and it drops. It's just one of those things where there's 2 ways to get the job done, and most people are more comfortable with praising the guy who does it themselves, because at the end of the day, when you try to do something yourself and you fail, you can walk away and be like, I gave it a shot. And so, not to make this a Kobe LeBron conversation, because it's not.
Well, we could talk about that all day.
Exactly, but I knew where you were going with that, and I think
it wasn't even that.
I know it wasn't a jab. It was just
that's why I didn't trust him up until 8 years ago.
Yeah, because stylistically it looked different, and LeBron.
Well, and it wasn't working for a long time.
Right. LeBron has the Jonas Ilgauskas, not Shaq, when he came into the league, you know.
LeBron could do more with nothing than what Kobe could do with nothing. And we saw it. It was very evident, because LeBron could take Ilgauskas and Boobie Gibson to the finals, while Kobe was, would make the playoffs or didn't make either would or wouldn't make the playoffs. And then when he did make the playoffs, he would carry the team far enough to just make it interesting in the first round. So like there's the difference between them. But when Kobe actually did have a team, what some would say, even though I think LeBron's losing teams were better than Kobe's, some would say Kobe's winning teams. And I'm talking about the post-Shaq stuff.
I know. You're talking about his 2008.
But Kobe would still win with. I mean, I'm not trying to be. Pau Gasol is a Hall of Famer. He is. Bynum's the guy that gave you 4 really good years, solid years, one time All-Star type shit. Good player. Trevor Ariza, I don't know if he's still in the league, but solid wing swing man in the league. You subbed him out for Ron Artest on the second championship team. Shannon Brown, entertaining player, I guess.
We're wrapping this up in 2 minutes.
Journeyman. I'm just simply saying. I mean, that's who the team was. So
Styles make fights,
but Kobe was the dude in those.
Yes, but yes,
it didn't matter your style because the Celtics were a better team than the Lakers. Holistically, Kobe was just the best player on the floor.
Yes, and certain time when the best player on the floor can make a jump shot,
make any jump shot. Difficult, easy.
Can make a jump shot and can shoot 80 plus from the free throw line. It's a little bit different.
Kobe was about 90%.
No. I just didn't want to say 90 and be wrong. I know he was high 80s.
He's the greatest player I've ever seen.
Yeah, but hey,
LeBron will go down as the great. Which, hey, just because I know we got to get to the West. No, we did kind of go through the West Wizards.
Yeah, we got to.
Let's talk about seriously though. Let's talk about LeBron and what he's about to accomplish, because by the time we do our next show, he either will maybe have broken it or not.
Oh, so LeBron is going to be the greatest player to ever wear a Laker jersey, but he will not be the greatest Laker.
Get the fuck out of here. Fuck out of here.
He's about to pass the greatest Lakers ever.
Nobody even considers Kareem the greatest Laker.
But they're wrong.
A lot of people think Magic is, and then Magic himself thinks Kobe is.
Well, Magic
and then, of course, our generation believes Kobe is.
Magic lied. Magic lied.
The greatest Laker of all time. Man.
Magic lied. Magic said that
Kareem had a career outside of LA, so that he can't be the greatest because he didn't play with one team.
Who?
Kareem.
Okay, sure. He
won. He won an MVP and a title with the Bucks. Like he's Shaq. He signed a fucking. Well, he didn't sign a deal because they didn't have free agency. He got traded there. So he won. And goddamn well it got forced. There's no way that trade just happened. They sent his ass there is what it is.
He won many rings and many MVPs.
Magic got drafted and stayed there. And he won those rings with him. All the rings that he won, Magic won too. Just like even though Kobe won rings without Shaq, just like majority, pretty much 75% of Shaq's rings he won with Kobe. By the way,
tell me how my ass tastes. Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
I was talking to somebody about this in a bar, not today, but like a few days ago. We talked about this.
You just live in
Everybody acts like Kobe didn't average like 30 points a game, like in the playoffs when they were winning these rings.
Kobe went crazy.
Kobe was averaging 36 and 5, while Shaq was averaging 32 in like 8.
Okay, but let's talk about LeBron.
Shaq was the MVP. Shaq couldn't be because where was the competition at? AI was gonna at least him and Kobe are going head for head. You just got Mutombo's ass, which great defense. He's a Hall of Famer too. But that's one finals. Who's in the Indiana?
Hey! No. We're talking about LeBron. We are talking about LeBron James.
Who the fuck was guarding him? Jason Cobb. Like, bro, I'm just saying.
We were talking about LeBron James.
Jason Kidd are taking turns on Kobe guarding.
We were talking about LeBron James about to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor to lead the league in scoring, and LeBron just submitted himself as the number 4 guy in all-time assists, passing Steve Nash and Mark Jackson, the worst NBA analyst to get national television games on a regular basis, primetime national television games. Mark Jackson fucking sucks on TV.
Yeah.
But enough of, I don't want to do that.
Steve got fired this year.
Who?
Steve?
Yeah, he should have. He sucked as a coach.
The boy passed him. I'm just saying he passed a guy that's been able to coach a few years and actually get fired.
I mean, and look at there, like the Nets got better the day Steve Nash left.
They did. They looked
It's
great.
like they flushed the toilet. It's like, yeah, if you flush the toilet, the bathroom smells better. You don't even got to clean it yet. You just flush the toilet. There's no more shit in it. But no, LeBron's going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I think what's so great about this is that LeBron has scored a lot of points, but he's never been the most skilled scorer in the league ever. And he has one scoring title. He could have won it last year had he just played one more game. But nigga just average. Nigga, he's 27, 7-7, 27, 8-8, just every night for the last 20 fucking years.
He's the model of consistency. On paper, LeBron James is the greatest player ever.
Absolutely.
I have no qualms about that. Like on paper, you could argue Jordan too, though, on paper. Like even on paper, Jordan's better low key than LeBron. But like Jordan also didn't play. I mean, people forget that Jordan played 14 years and he retired 3 times.
Yeah.
So who's to say if he doesn't retire at all the first time, nor the second time at least?
Well, when you're tied up with the mafia and you're gambling a little bit too much, you sometimes.
Well, Jordan's. It don't matter what LeBron does, because for Jordan, he's like, well, I'm already an NBA owner. You aspire to be what I am. I've won 6 titles. I never lost. Never saw a Game 7. You've seen them.
And bro,
I got my ass kicked by the best teams ever in the 80s, all of them, because 2 of them were in the Eastern Conference and there was only 1 in the West. I beat them in the West. Granted, Kareem was not there, but I beat Magic Johnson in a title game.
And James Worthy was hurt.
I don't give a shit. He beat Magic Johnson. People were saying Clyde Drexler might be better than me, and he's a dream teamer. He's an all-time great, even though he's not even the greatest Blazer ever, because Dame is, right? He isn't. He wasn't.
Bill Walton.
He joined the guys that won when I was retired. I'm just saying, I beat Barkley. Barkley's this guy. Barkley hates me too. Like,
no, Barkley
legends. I beat. I would have beat Shaq too if they did lose to them when he returned, but he returned like not even mid-season. That nigga returned in like March of an NBA season.
Hey, but he returned, so he
wore a different number, and they did lose to Shaq and Penny, but he didn't lose again. He didn't fucking lose anymore. So
yeah, but I think 6 for 6 is great, but
he's a 5-time MVP. Is LeBron 5 or 4?
4, just 4.
So he won't get LeBron's played longer, and he still has more. And think about it. Jordan could have won MVP when Carl was winning them MVPs. So and look, LeBron could have too. LeBron could have won MVP.
RIP. Can we do a segment where you praise LeBron and leave it in that box? I don't think we've ever done a praise LeBron segment without you having to bring up some Kobe or MJ. Like I'm gonna start back calling you Skip Hodges and Pierce Bayless.
Do you think I'm a LeBron hater, or am I just honestly telling facts?
I think that you value MJ and Kobe more than LeBron. So
you think I have a bias? I'm not a hater. I just
no. I'm not even calling it a bias. I think that you think their game, you think they're better basketball players. So when the conversation arises, the comparisons come. So you can come off as a LeBron hater, but I don't think you're a LeBron hater.
You want to know what this
really Bayless is a LeBron hater.
You want to know what this really comes down to, too?
You like
I just said, I just gave LeBron the biggest flowers of all time. On paper, you're the greatest ever.
Yeah, then you just shitted on him after.
I think it's legacy, though. Legacy-wise, Jordan's got a deeper legacy than anyone because he's Michael Jordan. To me, Kobe has a bigger legacy. Now, it's unfortunate, of course, because Kobe's dead. Like, he's no longer with us, right? And maybe that hypes it up a little bit more because he is dead. Like anyone else, anyone that dies, rap, like artist, actor, like Robin Williams is considered. I love Robin Williams movies, or Anthony Bourdain as like the food person. Like he's considered the GOAT of his craft. He really is. Like, I'm just saying, Robin Williams is one of the funniest men ever. He's great movies, Mrs. Doubt. Like, all these movies, he's the genie in Aladdin. But I'm just saying, of course, when he died, everything became so much more precious about him. Kobe was already kind of a cult follow type person anyways. He's the most popular. He's still the most popular player in China. And so, like,
China.
I'm just saying, most people on earth. But I'm just saying, you look at it this way, Kobe, him dying probably helps his legacy just a little bit more. Because you have to just think about the people, like, because these are so many unanswered questions specifically.
I have found the person you love more than Matt Ryan, and it's fucking Kobe Bryant.
Well, here's the thing. This is y'all's issue when it comes to the Falcons. I'm a Falcons fan. I do love Matt Ryan. I do. But, like, Matt Ryan, I don't have a favorite football player. I really don't. But I do have a favorite football team, and it's the Falcons. I have a favorite basketball team, and it's the Lakers. But, yeah, in terms of an athlete, yeah, Kobe Bryant's my favorite athlete of all time. And it's because Kobe was everything. If I could have ever been as gifted or as hardworking as him, like, that's who I would have wanted to be.
But like, we're gonna put a bow on this one because we're gonna get back who the best team in the East is. Kobe came into the league when we were like kids. You know what I mean? Like, he came to the league in '96. Bron came into the league. I was in the 5th grade when Bron.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen his whole career.
Right. So, like, there is also a level of.
But I pretty much have seen Kobe's whole career.
Yes, but here's the thing: you already liked Kobe
as a kid,
before Bron showed up.
But I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. But, like, the definition of a little kid when they're at the game and it's like a 7-year-old, like, yes, but I was the 7-year-old. In 2000 when they won their first title, I was the 7-year-old. So, yeah, like, no, I'm saying I've seen it from there too.
It's the reason why you and I will never, like, be in love with Giannis and Luka. Like, bro, y'all niggas are our age and younger.
Oh, they're great, but, like,
they're great, but, like,
I would never. One of them's gonna have to win a lot of rings for me to even consider that shit.
And honestly, we still won't, because there is something about looking up to a player. Like, I want to.
Our nostalgia. Well, we played back because we were really playing back.
Exactly. Like, bro, I never wanted to be like Giannis. I never wanted to be like Luka. You know why? I'm older than them niggas. We're peers.
There are 3 players in the NBA today, maybe 4, for me, that when I see them, it gives me not a second childhood, but a nostalgic view of, boy. And maybe because I was even in high school when these guys were kind of playing too. But Dame Lillard, love Dame Lillard. I think Dame Lillard's that guy. I really do. That's one.
He might be the most underrated player in the league.
Man, he is one of those dudes. Dame Lillard, Paul George is another player. I just remember when he went head-to-head with LeBron. He was the dude. And then there's 2 more, and they played together, KD and Russ. I think that KD and Russ is getting such a bad rap today.
Deservedly so.
He is the most triple-doubles in NBA history. That man, and look, stat stuffer, no rings, I get it. But he's got that dog in him. Like, you know how everybody does that meme now when they do the X-ray and it's a dog. That nigga is one of the – Kobe even said it too.
Russ.
Him, but, like, Kobe said it too. He was like, Westbrook plays with the most heart in the league. The most give a fuck and the most heart. Like,
many people would argue that. Like, Russ.
Exactly. And KD from KD from a sheer talent perspective is like and I've said this seriously, he's the best scorer in NBA history.
Yo, KD is the best TV product that the NBA has.
He is the best scorer in the league.
If you like pure scoring, if you just want to watch somebody just get to a spot, not waste a dribble, like efficiency, play the game. Like, KD blends analytics basketball with 90s basketball, 2000s basketball. Like, he plays the game the right way. Like, he's not going to waste dribbles like a Luka or a James Harden. I'm not going to put Kyrie in that category because Kyrie's not wasting dribbles.
I like Kyrie too.
I like Kyrie's game too. But we're on the East, man. Who's the best team in the East? healthy. Give me Philly.
Give me Milwaukee.
I like Philly.
I like Milwaukee. I'm surprised Boston, obviously, because they are number one, that they don't come up. But I think we just seen them. You want to know who Boston is? Boston is the Bills, except they've actually been to a finals. But Boston's like the Bills. Jason Tatum is like, and of the new school dudes, like I said, I like Jason. Jason Tatum does. If there's a player that reminds me a little bit of Kobe, it is him. Yeah, it is. Jason Tatum's kind of like Kobe. He's not Kobe. But if there's a dude that actually, it's not Devin Booker. I get tired of people saying that. Like Devin Booker does not remind me of Kobe Bryant.
He's not athletic enough. He's not athletic. He just writes.
He's not athletic enough, and I don't think he's as good a shooter as Kobe. But like Jason Tatum also isn't as good of a shooter, but like he can do everything. Like I don't know. It just feels like he wills the team. Like
he does, but he's too young to be playing like post Shaq Kobe. Like
nobody reminds me of like Kobe Shaq era. There's like not really any like T-Mac was kind of like that.
The closest thing to Kobe after Kobe is DeMar DeRozan. DeMar didn't develop the three the way that Kobe did.
Kobe had the NBA record before Steph broke it or Clay broke it. He had the NBA record he made 12 threes in a game.
Yeah. Daniel Marshall did too.
So like
he was tied with Daniel Marshall.
Yeah, Daniel Marshall when he was with the Cavs, I think.
And them short ass braids.
I know. Fat ass, like like he's just looked like he was wearing a romper out there on the floor. But
no, I know that DeMar can't shoot the three the way Kobe did. It's not me but I mean just stylistically, somebody who was an athlete, mid-range game, get to the spot, not wasting dribbles, taking shots that you go, ooh, that's a tough shot. That's a bad shot. Why are you shooting that far away from the basket but not getting 3 points from to me? It's DeMar DeRozan. But you got the Bucks as the best team in the East. I got Philly, who I think is the best team in the East. Would you take the Field or the Bucks?
Field. There's a lot of good teams in the East.
I think this year is one of the similar to what we thought. It's just a lot of parity. I was gonna say similar to the NFL, but the Chiefs and Philly kind of just won a bunch of fucking games all year. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of parity, and I don't know who the best team is. The records aren't going to tell me that, but I'm still not confident with Boston at point guard. I don't think Malcolm Brogdon makes it through the year, but
it's him and Smart, kind of.
And
why
not
even really the point guards? I mean, Tatum's the one hand on the ball, so and
I know, but I am talking about the person who is on the court playing that position, right? Like not the role, but the body on the court.
Fair. Eric Snow was the point guard for the Sixers when AI was the shooting guard.
Yeah, that league wasn't great either.
They were both 6. Hell, AI is 6 feet probably flat, and Snow was like 6'1".
But that was a very bad Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference was bullshit.
What years? I mean, Sam Cassell and Ray Allen. Sam Cassell people forget that Sam Cassell was a really good player too. Like he was good. He was not. He made like one All-Star, but like Sam Cassell was a good player.
And he's ugly.
He's an alien. That's what I used to say when he was on the Celtics. The year of the Hawks, when we played them in the first round, when the Hawks finally made the playoffs for the first time, like in forever. There was a dude because we sat right where the away team. Shout outs to my mom. She would always get our season tickets. She made it to where basically we could always see the road team every night, and I got so many memories out of it. But specifically that playoff series, there's a dude who was there. He kept fucking yelling at him, dog. Like, it was like, he's an alien. But he's like pointing at him. He's like, he's an alien. And like Sam Cassell's just like looking at him. But Sam Cassell, this is like Sam Cassell's last year in the league, too, obviously. And that was an old Celtics team. So like, they're all vets. We got to meet Paul Pierce. Like, I used to like, obviously, his last name is my first name. And I wore number 34. My dad wore 34 too, and Ray Allen did as well. So there's like a lot, but I wore it for my dad.
Hove did.
But I was a Paul Pierce fan too. Like I liked the Paul Pierce. Even being a Lakers fan, I liked the Paul Pierce. I always did.
Blasphemy.
He's a great player too.
Hey, who can beat that 5?
Who said it?
Jalen, Jason, Paul, KG.
No, but who came out and actually was like a lot of people.
They are.
They're right though. There's a lot of people that would beat that 5. Hell, there are teams that. Well, fuck it. Let's just go to that Warriors team. They beat that 5.
Let's see.
Hell, if you get prime love with that LeBron and Kyrie combo,
Bust their ass.
they bust their ass too. Yeah.
Well, what is Marcus?
Hell, no, I'm not gonna say that Heat team. Well, if we're talking about 5-on-5, no bench, that Heat team bust that ass. Which I guess they kind of did have troubles with the Celtics without those two, without Tatum and Brown.
Hey, guess who Paul Pierce ain't passing the ball to? Tatum and Brown.
Well, and that was my thought. My thought was that there's not even enough ball to share. KD would give up his share because he becomes
KG. He gonna be grabbing
prime KG. Prime KG's an MVP. So
prime KG.
Prime KG is 25, 12, and 4.5 or 5. Like
and 2
that's
blocks.
prime KG.
Prime KG is better than all of them, but it won't matter.
And think about it. Even prime KG was not even the best power forward in the NBA during his time.
In some years, he was number 3.
Yeah, if you want to throw Dirk in there, yeah.
But no,
well, Dirk won a title where he was drafted.
Because you got to remember, and Paul Pierce. If you ask Paul Pierce who are the top 5 players to play in the league, he would include himself.
In his era, yeah, probably.
Like
I don't know why he was he was always a top. I mean, he was always an all-star. So, like, certainly he's a top 20 player. Maybe probably top 15. I don't even know if he was consistently a top 10 player his entire career. I'm
about to pull it up. I'm gonna see how many
okay, this is a great question too. While we're here, who are the top 5? If you had to do not even by position, let's do the all 2000s team.
Come on, bro.
So Paul, 2000 to 2010, who would be the 5 best players of that decade? No position. We don't need a center, power forward, small forward. Who are the 5 best players? LeBron,
Kobe, LeBron, Shaq, Tim Duncan, Dirk, KG.
Dirk, KG could be interchangeable.
Dwayne Wade.
I don't even think I put Wade in it. Crazy enough.
Shit. From 3.
How many years was Wade top 5?
3 to 10.
Now these guys got drafted in 03. So they still had 7 years, right?
So real quick. Paul Pierce made All NBA second team once in 09 and 3 times.
That's too bad.
And
he already did it with the Wade comparison.
And 3 times from 2002.
I would take Wade over Paul Pierce.
2002, 2003, 2008. Let's look
Jalen Rose already broke that down. I'm just saying I don't think that Wade would be in the top 5 players of that decade. Because it's so
Wade, hold on.
Here are the 3.
Hold on.
Wait. Here are the 4 that nobody disputes. You already named them: Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, Duncan. Nobody disputes those 4. It's the 5th spot. I'd probably give it to KG or Dirk. Those are the 2 that I would interchange.
So let me give you a little Dwayne Wade for this decade, right?
Okay.
05 is second year, right?
Second, yes. 03, 04, 04, 05.
So 05, 06, third team All NBA.
That's his third year.
Excuse me. Second team. 05, 06, second team All NBA.
Third year.
07, third team All NBA. 09, first team All NBA. 2010, first team All NBA. We need another guard.
How many years did he get first team over Kobe?
He got, I don't know over Kobe, but 2009, 2010, he was first team All NBA.
Is that?
And from 05 to 16, he was All-Star. Huh?
Hold on. That was when they changed to where it was just the best guards as opposed to position.
Let's see. Let's just look at.
Look, Kobe's first team is 2002 to 24. 02 to 04 first team, and then 06 to 13 first team. These are the first team nods for him. So Kobe was a first team from 06 to 13.
Did we throw in Steve Nash or Jason Kidd into?
He's got those 2 fucking MVPs, bro. But I mean, you know how I feel about that too.
You know how everybody feels about this shit.
Yeah, we know that was bullshit. You could have split that. Shaq could have got one, and Kobe could have got the other.
Or Tim Duncan could have got another one. I mean, it's. Let's see. Let's get to the 20. So 2000, 2001, All NBA, Tim Duncan, Chris Webber. We didn't even say Allen Iverson, bro. Shaq, AI, Jason.
But he's not. But honestly, you're not taking AI over KG or Duncan. I mean, not Duncan, KG or Dirk.
I'm not taking a nigga over D Wade either.
Yeah, probably not. Overall, probably not.
Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, Mutombo, Vince Carter, Kevin Garnett. Then, Karl Malone still made him one in 2000, 2001. Karl Malone, Dirk, David Robinson, Gary Payton, Ray Allen. Let's see.
Those guys, to me, those guys are mid-90s to mid-2000s players.
Yeah, no, I'm just going through the list because.
And Malone's actually late 80s through the 90s. Malone's a 90s player. So is Payton. Those are 90s players more than anything.
And T-Mac is making a lot of appearances on these All-NBA teams.
T-Mac, because T-Mac was a force in the 2000s. He just was never healthy, like for half of the
playoffs.
So, and he didn't win anything.
No, he didn't. Hey man, let's talk a little culture real quick.
Let's get into it.
So all this is going to kind of run together because I think these are important conversations to have in the Black community. As Emmanuel Acho would say, it's let's have a tough conversation with a Black man. You know, a Black man who openly said, "Hey, I'm not a descendant of a slave, so I don't have that angry, quote unquote, Black man syndrome." He didn't say that, but that's be paraphrasing. This angry Black man, syndrome that some of you guys have. Emmanuel Acho was on Higher Learning with Van Lathan and some woman who was on The Bachelorette or some shit like that. I don't remember her name. I should probably look it up, but I'm not going to. You know what? I am. She deserves that respect because people say I'm a misogynist.
And we are doing media, right?
Yeah. So yeah, she was on The Bachelor. Excuse me. I think it's like Megyn Kelly. I don't know. Jesus, I text you too much. No. I sent that to you. Here we go. Rachel Lindsay, sorry.
Hey,
yes.
Look at this.
So Uncomfortably Conversing with Emmanuel Acho, right? That's the name of the podcast on Higher Learning. And pretty much Van Lathan brought Emmanuel Acho on to let him know how he felt about him because he just didn't gave him so much shit on his podcast. He was like, "Hey, bro, if you're gonna be here, I gotta kick this shit to your face." And it kind of turned into like some Twitter back and forth after the podcast. And good spice. Definitely is the reason why I listened to it. But I think it was a super interesting conversation because you're taking two different approaches to attacking racism and having these conversations because you and I will both agree that these conversations are super important. Like you don't understand how someone else thinks. You don't understand like where they're coming from without talking to them. And I kind of fall on the side that Van Lathan falls on of where I think it's toxic. I think it's scary. I think that Emmanuel Acho putting himself in a position to be the guy who is the face of uncomfortable conversations with a Black man, but is towing the line. Some might say he's tap dancing and or bootlicking. And if you look at some of the guests that he's had, like, bro, he's had Roger Goodell on there, and they talked about Colin Kaepernick.
Acho?
You know? Yeah, he had Roger Goodell on his show. I want to say he talked.
At least funding this shit.
Exactly right. He had Matthew McConaughey on there because they're both Texas guys, right? They talked about and Van Lathan brought up that Matthew McConaughey asked, and he was like, "So when does this Black Lives Matter thing end?" Like, nigga, what? You know, and you and I know how this stuff works, bro. Roger Goodell ain't gonna go sit down with Van Lathan. Roger Goodell wouldn't go sit down with Dr. Umar Johnson. Shit, Roger Goodell wouldn't go sit down with the Breakfast Club. And in this whole podcast, Acho talked about, oh, well, this wasn't sent to my publicist. Well, I wasn't prepared for these questions. Like, my nigga, I'm pulling up shit that you said. You don't have to remember your direct quote, but you know how you feel. Like, the publicist ain't got to tell you what you said, or you ain't got to do the research because you knew how you felt when you said it.
Well,
And
we can all, in the heat of the moment, forget some things that we say, but for the most part, like you just said, it's natural reaction. So like you do know why you felt that way, even if it had brought to your attention. I said that, it's just like, well, this is probably why I said this.
mm-hmm.
You can come to that realization, because at that point, then you're saying, no, you're lying. I didn't say it. Or you were just drunk or high or something.
Right. And part of Acho's defense was he was saying it's easier to get bees with honey than vinegar. Sure. But if you are positioning yourself as the person who wants to have the uncomfortable conversation, part of the uncomfortable conversation is not always winning them over. It's about leaving them with something to think about when they walk away from it. You have close friends, you have people in your life that you've had uncomfortable conversations with. Whether you were the one receiving it, whether you were the one giving it, or both of y'all were going back and forth. And you could have gotten to a heated argument with somebody who matters to you. And then you go to your room and you lay in the bed and you think about what was said. You like go back through that conversation and you go, oh shit, maybe I learned something here, you know? And what lets me know that Acho is not interested in having uncomfortable conversations. When that conversation got uncomfortable, he was like, this is a waste of my time. Like, I just got off of TV for 2 hours doing my show, and my time could have been better spent doing this. Like, I don't have the bandwidth to, you can say he ain't had the bandwidth to research this and do that. If I would have known you were coming to me it this way, I would have been prepared. It's like, so you're getting in your feelings because someone has now made you uncomfortable, because they're making you sit on your words. And again, you're talking about you can get more bees with honey than with vinegar. If we're having uncomfortable conversations, give me some piss and vinegar. Don't give me honey and sugar. That's not uncomfortable. That feels good. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, get me drunk, but I don't want a hangover. No. The uncomfortability of getting too drunk is the hangover. And sometimes you need the hangover to go, ooh, too drunk. Now, lesson learned. Because this guy took the confrontation that he and Van Lathan were having as an unproductive conversation. And if you think confrontation, you're like, well, I'm not confrontational. Okay, dog, you're a punk. So if you don't think confrontational conversation and learning can't come from that, you know, when you're angry like that, it has people shut off. Well, motherfucker, listen. See why I'm angry, and listen to why I tell you I think what you're doing is not the right way to do it.
I think when it comes to conversations when people disagree, one thing that I know that, because I've had plenty of those conversations. It's like, you know, this is normal. I mean, none of us are the same. We don't all share the same opinions, and you can be in a position where you're uncomfortable, even with people that you love and that you know, and even within that, like, you can kind of be in this space of where you're like, okay, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to take this in. And I don't expect to change your mind. Like, ever. Like, you can die on that hill and I will die on mine. But I'm also willing to listen, and at least I can take this in and say, I see why. I understand why. And a lot of times I think that, especially within, I don't hate to be like the nigga that does that, but like, especially within the Black community, that is like one thing that nobody wants to understand. I'm not somebody that grew up in any of what would be a situation that the Black community not necessarily glorifies, of course, but like
you didn't grow up broken in the hood. Just say it.
I didn't grow up broke or in the hood. I didn't grow up, like without a debt. Like there's like a lot of different things like that where those were not things that like I ever had to like experience. Like I didn't experience it. But there are also things too on my end. I don't want to be dismissed in those conversations with other people because there are other things that I've had to deal with in life too. Everything just isn't sweet either. But like we all deal with things, but that's the point. The point is that there's so much that could be from the uncomfortableness of having that conversation with somebody that's went through something or dealt with something or is speaking on something at large that deals with our community, worldwide, just human nature in general. We dismiss things because of the assumption or even with white people and black people, right? You can look at just specifically, at least in the United States, there's stereotypes. Like there's just like certain stuff that people associate with certain different things. Somebody could say, I tell you what, even within my own family, I don't want to get too personal, but for instance, when the mother of my child, and at the time, of course, girlfriend, met my aunts for the first time, something was said about how I thought about Delaware. And that is Delaware, let me tell you, Wilmington, Delaware is, bro, that shit to me, that is what it is. It is what it is. That's why my mom didn't go back. Like that shit's that is the projects. It's the projects. Like that shit that is the gutter. Like that ain't the hood. Like there's hood. The hood's right down the street from here. Like I know what the hood looks like. That ain't the hood. Bro, that shit's the ghetto. Bro, like that is the ghetto. Like I've actually got to see that shit and be around it. And she took exception to it as if I was talking down on them, where they're from. And it isn't like I'm talking down on where they're from. It's my observation based on what it is that I see. It's an opinion, but at the same time, it's also backed by factual things that I'm seeing and what definitions mean around those terms. So it's just kind of like,
hey, can I ask you a question?
But it doesn't make you wrong for telling me it isn't that and that it's just this. It's blue collar. Like you could spin it how you want because it's your environment. It ain't my environment. I don't live there, so I don't know. But I also have backing of knowing somebody that's the closest person to me that lived there and told me why they didn't go back. And then when I see it, and even when I see it again as an adult, when she's no longer here, I can understand why. Like I know why.
Can I throw something at you?
Yeah.
You know, people are often bothered by truthful observations, and they take those truthful observations as judgments. And I can point out something that you may perceive as a flaw about yourself.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not gonna. I can't think of something right now. Like, but you know that you are one of my best friends in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if I point out a flaw about you, I'm not judging you for it because I'm aware of it. I accept you. I literally talk to you in a group text every day. We damn near
actually talk.
Yeah,
like this.
Like 3 hours.
Occasionally, might even get on the phone.
Exactly.
We probably talk more than anyone actually in the group.
Right.
For sure.
Except for probably you and Justice. And we text on the side.
Yeah, that's my brother, and we work together too. So
and we text on the side throughout the week too. Sometimes shit ain't even show related. We're just texting about other shit. And I made an observation, bro. Like, hey, dog, you drink too much sometimes. And I'm just throwing something out there, right? Like sometimes you get too drunk and you do stupid shit. Bro, I'm not attacking you. I see something, I said something, right? And you could do the same for me. And I shouldn't feel attacked Because it's just observation. Hey, dog, you live in a shitty neighborhood, bro. This shit sucks. I still love you.
Right.
If you want to live here, if you want that's fine. I'm not.
Exactly. And that's kind of the way I view it, like just in general. Because like I said, we all got one life to live that we know of, I guess. There's some people, there's conspiracy theorists out there that believe that maybe we're reincarnate. There's like a lot of stuff. But in reality, we got one life to live based on what we know. And I think that it would be bad if you let somebody influence you and it wasn't what it is that you wanted to do. You can be influenced and like agree with something and be like, man, this really is what kind of, made me who I am. This conversation I had or this, it really set me straight, and it could get you to that point of where you're comfortable with whatever you consider your success or whatever it is that gets you there. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that we need more of that in general in the world, but even to speak more specifically, our community, we need more of that amongst others, because the reality of it is one of the beautiful things about Morehouse and why I am not one of none of us are these Morehouse ass niggas, but like one of the beautiful things about Morehouse is that it is the most diverse Black walks of life that you can run into. You will run into so many different types of Black people. And that's what makes it so beautiful. It really, that to me is what makes the school the school. Because
Morehouse,
you can meet a nigga from the hood that's from Vine City, but you can also meet the nigga that's from Alpharetta that never went to public school, and they all can coexist, but we all want to drink together. We all want to hit on the same chick. Everything can come together all within one. And then, but even on a bigger scope, even outside of just Black people, we can all go out of the country and be around other people, and it be this, what isn't promoted in general about the way we interact as people.
Yo,
like this media talk, like there's historically there's supposed to be division. Like a Jewish person and somebody that's an ancestor of a Nazi should be able to potentially come together. It's the same thing with the racist person, and I can be a descendant of a slave, which more than likely I am. Like, we should be able to come together, like, or even somebody's daddy could be fucking racist, and like we know that they are, but the daughter ain't, or the son ain't. Like, we should be able to sit
the
down.
daughter definitely ain't, bro. The daughter ain't racist.
Talk about the what was negative, but just the idea that we could actually sit down and we're like, man, why couldn't we get this sooner?
And that's what I think gets so lost. And Black people don't own Black culture, and I talk about this all the time. We don't own our media outlets. We don't own our entertainment outlets. Like, we don't own this shit. So a lot of what gets played is what white people deem to be what should be Black culture, right? Like, it's what they like because it's their fucking money. So they get to dictate that, man. And guys like us, when you think about Black media, you got somebody like Stephen A. Smith who says a lot of just hyperbolic bullshit. You get Bomani Jones, who's a college guy, who Clark Atlanta guy, and he's solid, but
I mean, not to
well
say
spoken.
Because even the well spoken part, it's like one thing. Even the athletes that are like dumb as fuck.
Bro, I would never say that Bill Simmons is well spoken because it's expected because he's a media guy. So I figure that's where you're going, right?
Yep.
But then you look at the other side of Black media, the Breakfast Club, bro. That's dumb people media.
They're well spoken too. They just talking about nothing.
They're talking about dumb shit, right? You got and I'm a fan of the Joe Budden podcast, and I think they have pretty good conversations on there, but a lot of it's just dumb nigga shit.
But they also base it around
hip hop.
Yeah, and
hood,
hip hop is dumb shit. Like,
right.
The content of it, a lot of it at least, is.
And hood laws, like these laws of the streets that nobody follows. Guess what, dog? If it's a RICO, we snitching. Everybody's snitching. It's like, hold on, I can tell and get immunity.
You know why Jay-Z is so cold? Because Jay-Z can actually go to a hood and legitimately like talk to niggas, like niggas, and also be in the same boardroom as the billionaires, but like have the same. It's not, people will be like code switching, like whatever that even means.
I don't think Jay-Z could talk to our group of friends and really move us in a way. I don't think he could inspire us.
Yeah, he can't move us. I'm just saying he can be on the top end of what people consider the spectrum, the boardroom, but can also be on the foot, talk to the foot soldiers and like be able to have a conversation that wins both over.
But I think the problem is it's the token nigga that made it and the street nigga in the gutter. I think those are the only voices that we get that get to be loud. You don't get, the locker room is a group of middle-class black guys from lower middle class to upper middle class who are all doing fairly well for themselves in their late 20s and early 30s.
But you don't get, you know why you don't get that voice? Because at that point, you've made it past that if your voice is heard.
But the thing is,
that's the thing. Like
we have,
at least from a perspective, the people are like, well, you've graduated.
We have the best perspective of what it's like to be black because we've been the token, the accepted token. We've been the shunned token. We've been the accepted nigga amongst niggas. We've been the outcast nigga amongst niggas because, I'm not broken hood like y'all. So the shit y'all is doing, I'm never doing that.
I'm gonna head home. I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna leave. You know what? Hey, I'm gonna go here. The cover is $50, and I'm not. I don't know. I'm going here. I don't care what the cover is. I'm not gonna ask. I'm going to give them my card, and they're gonna swipe it. And that's what I'm gonna do. And they're gonna pat me down, because everybody who comes here gets patted down, because I want to be safe. I don't argue when I go out. I don't fight when I go out. I hang out with my friends. When I was single, I chased women. We didn't care who was over there because, bro, I don't know them niggas. I don't care who gives a fuck what they. Oh, them mugging. Okay. We ain't got no guns. We don't have a bunch of cash on us because we make legitimate, clean money.
Right. We don't need to carry cash because we're not getting paid in it.
Ain't none of their baby mamas over here. So, like, we are the voice. I think we're the voices of Black Americans that should be echoed, not Free Young Thug. I'm sorry, bro. If he is a career criminal, if he's running criminal enterprise, get him off the streets because he's influencing the youth to be like him. And the youth shouldn't try to be like that. They shouldn't try. Even Jay-Z, even LeBron James. Hey, if you are 1% of the 1%ers, yeah, you go for that. But if you just want to be good at life and comfortable and do what most people end up doing, find a trade, go to school.
So I'll give you an example of somebody that would be
blurry.
A little, but I'll give you an example of somebody that would be an example potentially kind of that middle class, because you just brought him up, but we also have talked about him in the past. But so you look at somebody like Van Lake. Don't know how much money he was making at TMZ, but the reality is I can't imagine more than 300,000 and that's just tops. I don't think he was making $1 million doing what he was doing, but
he could get into any party.
He can get into any party, but he also wasn't necessarily this very rich dude.
According to
how he grew up or where he was from, but
he's from South Baton Rouge. According to Celebrity Net Worth, he's worth $1.5 million.
Okay, so normal now. That's good. I don't know how old he is. How old is he? Probably 34.
Nah, he's in his 40s.
You think? Really?
Yeah.
Either way, and we can't even. Who's to say?
Oh, this other website says he's worth $20 million.
But now, I'm just simply saying, when he was on TMZ,
42.
The Kanye thing to me is like his breakthrough, low key. That was to me when I found out who I didn't know who the fuck that nigga.
Never mind, 1.5. Yeah, 1.5.
I didn't know who he was, and I think that the Kanye thing was big though for him. Like Kanye is
And it was
so,
organic.
and you know, and that's the crazy part too, especially once the Genius thing came out on him. But like when you look at it, Kanye was kind of that voice, low key too. Like he also wasn't really a hood nigga. His mom was educated, his dad was educated, and he grew up in a part of town that wasn't the greatest. But like he was not dumb and he wasn't a hood nigga either. Like to me, that's what made him so loved. But he told the truth about both sides and like knew niggas on both sides. Right? Like and
Don't you, hey,
somebody too like can deal
don't you know niggas on both sides?
Huh?
Don't you know niggas on both sides?
Yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying
but
that's what made even him. I think his appeal as a person was that is him. He is that middle. Like there are certain people that are, because I'm just trying to think of even if there is a famous person to begin with, because to me there is no in between. That's a voice.
Maybe
there is no
Charlamagne.
in between. Like there isn't one.
Maybe Charlamagne. He ain't
even now he's rich.
He's too rich.
Yeah, like he's making a lot of money now, and so like
because he's lost touch.
But and I'm gonna get off Kanye, but like, and even with him, even when he just did what he did with the paparazzi thing, he didn't do nothing wrong, and a lot of people praised him in, you know, whatever the spiritual word, shade room, whatever post, like a lot of people praise that shit because like that nigga ain't lying. Like, why the fuck are y'all following me around? I get it, I'm famous, like I'm used to it now, I've been doing it for years, but in reality, seriously, why are you guys recording me? Like what I'm doing? Like,
and
like,
Buddy was like, well, why wouldn't you do that at home? Man, nigga, why would I beat your ass at my house? Like, hey, come on with me. Come on home. And I do like the baby did when Buddy jumped the baby fence and he shot him in the leg.
Right. Well, but and then they do record you at home. There was a time where Kanye left his house getting into like a Lambo or something, but it was like 4:30 in the morning. It was a nigga out there ready for him, and he was. If you look it up, literally, it happened. Like he said like shut the fuck up or something. He said something to him.
I know a guy whose sister used to teach at Sierra Canyon Lower School, right? When Kanye would bring the kids to school, he had a dummy car. Imagine, I mean, just because of the cameras, the paparazzi, dog, you're just trying to take your kid to school at 7:00 in the morning, and you gotta drive a dummy car. You're taking 2 blacked out SUVs like through the car rider line, just so they don't know which one you're in. Get out of one, get back in the other.
It's ridiculous, bro.
It's ridiculous, and the idea that people feel entitled enough to your life that. It's one thing if you're in public. I can take a picture of stuff in public, dude. But me and you aren't famous, nowhere near it. But dog, if we're just out and about walking to a Falcons game, we just see somebody random taking a picture at us, one of us gonna be like, hey bro, what the fuck you doing? Yo, chill. And imagine if like we're out with our daughters and just some rando is taking a picture of us. And it could even be somebody going, it could be me, you, and Jew. 3 black guys with their daughters. Hey man, I just love seeing 3 black men with like being dads. Hey yo, you can love to see it all you want, but don't take no fucking picture of me and my kid.
Yeah, like dog, you probably have something better to do than this. And if you don't, well, that's too bad. You can't get this. Like, you're not getting it. Like leave me alone.
So as we kind of put a bow on this piece, because shit, we've been going. Hey, there's nuance in the black community. We think differently. We have different backgrounds. And just because we have the same color skin, bro, don't even mean we grew up the same culturally. Like Emmanuel Acho is first generation. His parents were born in Nigeria. He goes back to Nigeria. He can trace his roots to Nigeria. culturally he's different than me, who I know my mama from Cartersville, Georgia, and I got generation of family from Northwest Georgia, and my daddy is from New Orleans, and he got family in New Orleans, Alabama, and Mississippi. After that, I don't know. So Southeast, yeah, I'm from there. What them niggas from the Southeast are from? No idea. And I can give 23 and me my money for them to tell me, but I won't believe it.
Right, because what do they really know?
What niggas lying?
I don't give a fuck about that technology shit. Like,
exactly.
How much DNA y'all got on everybody in our family? Like,
bro, so stop.
And then why did the government give y'all access to it? Because it would have to almost be government shit that you're getting. And did they just allow this? And if that's the case, then let me go straight to them and get it too.
And if they allowed this, bro, who signed the release form?
Give me everybody's social, everybody's
address,
anything and everything. Because all I got to do is I know my last 3 to 4 generations of family's names. Let me get that, and then from there you give me the rest, and I'll just keep backtracking. It's like
give me them 3 numbers on the back of the credit card while you at it too.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
But like let's close here. We have the unfortunate murder of Tyre Nichols in Memphis by multiple police officers. I'm not going to say the number because from what I didn't watch the entire video, well, we know that the number was at least 5, but then another white cop came out. 6, maybe 7. So
it was 5 in the video. I saw the video, honestly. Like we talked to people. I did see it.
So this unfortunate thing happened. Cops have lost their jobs. It appears that the white cop was protected. I'm gonna make this whole thing racy. I'm gonna make this whole thing racy, but I'm not gonna focus on like, well, why did the white cop get protected? I mean, look, bro, we done seen this. We done seen too much where if you're shocked by that, all right, man, get your head out of the fucking ground.
Regardless, I think it's irrelevant because even in the video, he wasn't in it, and it doesn't mean that he's not as culpable. But like, he wasn't even in it, so like, I don't even think it matters. I think what matters is that shit happened, and like, it should not have. Like that shit should not like an example needs to be made out of this.
Absolutely. So
I hate that it was a bunch of brothers too. I really do, but like at the same time, send them niggas in just like I would any white cop that's wrong. Just like if Young Thug is wrong, send them niggas to jail, man. Like send them all to jail. Like if you're breaking the law, you're doing these type of things. That was police brutality to a T. Send them to jail. And if the laws aren't strict enough to send a cop to jail for doing that, then we need to make new laws and make it to where that can't. I tell you what, it can happen again, but they're going to know what's going to come with it, the price tag.
Absolutely. And you've seen people in the streets protesting in various cities, nonviolent protests, peaceful protests, some outrageous protests. I mean, the National Guard got called to Atlanta, not necessarily tied to this, but because they're protesting this police facility that's being built in the city. And it's like, hey, man, countering more cop involvement with crime doesn't help your case. I'm gonna throw that out there. Even if more cop involvement's not the right answer, like what you're doing, I don't think that's what fixes it. But also this, I'm tired of marching. I'm tired of we shall overcome. If that's the same stuff that my grandmama and them was doing, that my mama and them is doing, now that my generation is doing, and we're asking for the same things, and we're going about it the same way, something's got to give. And we have to figure out what actually works to give us the life that we want. Maybe it's not integrating into the mainstream of America. Maybe it is creating a subculture within the American culture inside these cities that you live in, or relocating somewhere, a great exodus from the coastal cities and moving to a central portion of the city, of the country, and building up a Black community. And I talked about it with a friend. It's like, well, the last time we tried to do that, or when we tried to do it before, it got burned down. Well, Okay, let's learn from history. Buy guns, reinforce it, prepare. You know, like bro, it's some country hillbilly rednecks that are waiting for the government to come try to take their guns.
We are the best example of our beliefs, and I think that when we shine who we truly are within any situation, depending on how uncomfortable you want to make it, there are racists everywhere. There are people that have beliefs within each race everywhere that they don't agree on, but you're the best example of what it is that can make that change. I look at even the steps that we've taken, that where we have gotten progress and how that even happened. You know, I don't want to take it back to the fucking history book, but like if you look at someone like Frederick Douglass, right? Like this dude was not out there. Now he wasn't afraid, I'm guessing, for everybody to get it that way. But this was a dude that was an abolitionist, right? Like he was a free black man able to have the conversation, to even be in the spot to talk to the racist person, and not try and necessarily convince him to not be racist, but just to be himself. And then they're like, you know, you're really not that bad. And so I think that if we are ourselves, that will control more of it. And that's why even today you can see unlikely friendships bud from anyone that knows people. I've got I'm trying to think. I think you met Hayes maybe, but the white guy, lives in Salt Lake City, that goes to the games. Most people wouldn't think that we're friends. I spoke to him today on the phone for like 30 minutes, and like, but I'm good. I'm cool with him. Like we're cool, and he's from Alabama. He's not racist or anything, but like at the same time, it's a good example. He might know some racist people. He's able to, whenever he's around that racist person, if they ever say something negative, and I'm like, nah, well, Cletus, calm down, like type shit. I'm just saying, like it's I think it's us being ourselves that will transform the world, but we gotta be able to not be afraid to be ourselves to begin with, to do it.
Shared experiences without an expectation of something on the back end is what does it, right? You know, if
that's key.
If you're going to
fuck race, that's key in life. With women going out, if you want to get a like, that is key. It's just key.
If you're going to sit us down in a room and make us talk about race relations, the conversation's probably not going to be a great one. It's not that I'm uncomfortable talking about it, but if you don't want to hear it, you just hear it because you're forced to be here. That's terrible. But if you and I got to do some business, right? And we could be negotiating against each other. Like I'm trying to spend less and you're trying to pay less, right? And we're going back and forth. All right, hey man, meet me at STK. We'll eat dinner, have a couple of drinks, and we'll talk it out. Okay,
we can figure out a way to meet in the middle.
We go out, we talk, we have a little bit in our system, so we loosen up a little bit, and we just have a conversation. We're not even talking business right now. We're talking to each other. And I'll tell you, I was at a conference. At this conference, we were talking about like the importance of like ensuring that we're doing proper diversity training and inclusion training and all that stuff, right? And this one dude goes, "Hey man, we got trucks to fix, man. I don't have time to pull out of my training schedule to do like racial inclusion training." Like, hey man, that's bullshit, because trucks are always going to need to be fixed, but you're going to have people who are working for you and with you who are disenfranchised, and there are others around them who don't even know what they're doing. So if you don't ever have these conversations, it won't happen. That was the conversation in the confines of the meeting. We end up at the hotel bar later on that night, and then we have a conversation about it, right? And then he and I walk away from that conversation. I understand where he's coming from, because he's just like, man, I'm just trying to get the fucking job done. Like, I'm here. And I go, you're here, but everyone's not there. They're not just focused on the job. They're focused on the experience. And if there are other people who are being disenfranchised by others and you're not even aware of it, you're failing them, because you're supposed to be leading this group of people. And you got to know that shit, even if you're not the one who's guilty of doing it. And 15, 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes later, bro, we had a great race conversation. He learned, I learned, and we kept it pushing. So I think that's kind of the direction that we have to go, but it has to be a place of, yo, let's stop, like, bro, stop begging for shit. Like, hey, black people, I know we need more. We don't have what we deserve, but stop coming from a place of begging and a victim, and you got to come from a place of power, a place of we're meeting as peers to get a mutual understanding. And how do we find that mutual understanding?
I'm going to get the job done. Just don't undercut it because of who I am. Like, and that's where the begging comes in, because you look at history and it's just like, well, you didn't even go through said history directly. So it's kind of like you have this made up in your head, and it doesn't mean that it's not valid, but at the same time, are you at least doing what you're supposed to do to where you can complain about it yourself because you're a firsthand victim of it, like to where you got to experience it yourself? Probably not. And so, like, that's why you come in with this assumption that, well, this person's this, and so it's not going to work out to my advantage because of that. It's okay to come in with the assumption, but to actually voice it or feel that way and show it is another thing.
Yeah, man. As we put a bow on this, because golly, we've gone long.
I know. Shit. I got to pick my daughter up in the morning.
Shit, yeah, I gotta go to work in the morning. We just gotta be better. We gotta keep progressing. And hey, man, if your mama did it, your grandmama did it, and your great grandmama did it, and it didn't work, try something new. All right, man. I'll see you next week, Parlay Pete, on Wednesday. And let's not go this long.
Yeah, we won't. Because hell, I'm gonna have to wake up for a flight that morning.
All right, man.
Might be an early one.
All right, man. Yeah, this will be out tomorrow afternoon.
Well, we got our Super Bowl preview next week as well.
Absolutely. Super Bowl preview next week. Yeah.
And you guys are going to get the official, as of at least fucking that day, Super Bowl prediction. And it will still be a 6-pack because I'm going to throw in
some props.
Super Bowl MVP, the Gatorade color, the dumb shit, along with the game and the over-under. So we'll see.
All right, man. Look forward to talking to you next week. I'll talk to you in the locker room tomorrow.
All right, brother.
All right, dog.